Woo! Good evening, my friends. I hope everybody's doing well. It's great to see you guys, hang out with you. You know what? This was actually a really last minute thing, man. We're just gonna hang out for a little while. I'm not even sure if I'll go all the way till 9 o'clock tonight, but we'll see. Um, but we're gonna just hang out a little bit. We're entering week 2 in jury selection, and there's already 10 jurors that have been named or that have been seated. And now we've got someone in my chat who's claiming to have been a dismissed juror, who claims she is juror 537. He or she is juror 537. And one of the people was asked if they had an opinion on the case, and she said yes, or they said yes. And I don't know why I'm assuming it's a she. He, okay, it's a he. Good to know. He said yes. And so that's nice to see that there are people who are honest. It's a good sign. To have people who are honest and saying, "Hey, man, listen, you asked me a question. I swear to God that I tell you the truth, and this shit is a fucking sham." But welcome. I'm glad you're here. And now what we're waiting on is Weinberg's appeal with the SJC, I think, to see if they can finally rule this as double jeopardy. But I don't have a lot of high hopes for that. I don't have a whole lot of high hopes for that. And I think that's just, making sure that we're all in the right mindset and preparing for the worst and being ready and having our war paint on and ready to go. So I should word that differently. Yes, I have high hopes for it, but I don't have a whole lot of confidence in it. That's a better way of putting it. And Kimbo sliced you win handle of the day, just because I grew up like when YouTube first came out. When YouTube first came out, and I grew up in Miami, so Kimbo was like this dude that would get into these fights, these backyard fights with people and just destroy everyone. And then he went into the UFC and got destroyed like in minutes, like in seconds, really. Because street fighting is not anything like MMA. And unless he never sleeps, thank you for becoming a new member. Appreciate it. Welcome to Logic. Oh, your brother says you look like him? Okay, right on. Yeah, man. So yeah, I had a pretty lazy day, man. I started to watch, I put up a poll on Twitter because I started to watch Wicked. And I'm not a musicals guy. Like I don't know if you can tell. And my whole thing with musicals is like, it's just okay. The reason why I gave Wicked a chance is because a musical, I can handle a musical. I realized this recently too. What's up, Dennis Sweeney? I realized this recently is that I I don't mind musicals so much if the story is completely and totally fictional and unbelievable, like it's a fantasy where like real life doesn't fucking happen, like a setting like the Wizard of Oz, like the Land of Oz. Like there I could believe that it's just part of life to where they just stop whatever the fuck they're doing and then bust into synchronized song and dance. But a movie where I'm supposed to be convinced of the humanity behind everyone and everything, and then they do that, I get lost immediately, don't have the attention span for it. I think the music sucks and I get bored super quick. And honestly, the music in Wicked was fucking garbage as far as I'm concerned. Like, I did not enjoy the songs. Like, I dig the songs in Aladdin. You know what I mean? Gotta steal to eat, gotta eat to live. Right? I dig that shit. You know what I mean? Like, that shit's fun. Listening to Robin Williams do these really complex fucking sets of lyrics and shit is amazing. Like I could get into that, but most Disney movies I can't really get into because of the whole musical factor of it all. And what's funny is I really love music. But I'm picky when it comes to music, and I think that the music in Wicked really sucked. And I was really bored. And there was there was a part in that movie that I will never ever tell you about that made me laugh hysterically. Hysterical. Like, I can't even tell another human being about it. It's one of those things. It's like better to keep this completely to yourself and never tell anybody about it. Never share this with anyone. But I was like crying laughing over my pizza. I just had an insanely stupid, like uh fucking hysterical reaction to something that wasn't supposed to be funny. It was really, really funny. Um, it just made me laugh. And it's something really stupid, but it's one of those things that if I told people about it, they'd be like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? So you'll never know. Um, so, but yeah, like I had ordered like a pizza and I'm like tearing it up. Like I was just all, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this movie, I'm gonna eat this pizza. And I lost my shit laughing at this. And I was like, Jesus, dude. Like, even was like, I was laughing at like my asking myself, I was laughing at the fact that I was asking myself, like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Um, but then I got about 37 minutes into the movie and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't have the patience for it. So I stopped watching Wicked, and I don't think I'll ever sit down to watch the rest of it ever again. So those of you who voted, you already quit. You voted correctly. Okay. Um oh, Carla, Ohio gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Now, I don't imagine I would love be based on the pace that things have been going with this jury selection. Uh I would like to think that this is going to be done by the end of this week. But this past week could just be a fluke as to why jury selection is moving so quickly and so, you know, so smoothly. So who knows? I have no idea. I just simply don't have any idea. But now it did come to my attention that Broken Baker had had Plevin on his channel. Now here's what I want you to do, because Broken Baker is a really cool dude. And I want you guys to stop what you're doing right now. Stop what you're doing right now. Okay? And give Broken Baker's live stream that he had today a like, because I am going to stream it. We are going to watch it. But I want to make sure that he gets as many likes as possible in exchange for me streaming it. And he deserves it. So make sure to like his video. If you're not subscribed to Broken Baker, go ahead and subscribe to Broken Baker as well while you're over there liking his video. What's up, Mazza Media? Good to see you, buddy. So yeah, let's let's go ahead and watch this. What's up, Dina?
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what, if any, you might be. And welcome to this book club. It's my second book club. First one was on my own release on my children's book. Today we have Kevin from Yellow Cottage Sail on to talk about his book on his view of the Karen Read case. Or would you claim is it, I've been reading it and I've told you, and you people who follow us on Twitter know we don't always agree on everything. Mostly not.
Broken Baker read Plevin's book, bro. Dude, I lost my shit so bad, bro. Like, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Like, my gummy hasn't hit me yet, so I don't think it's gonna make me laugh as hard. But I was still really kind of punchy from waking up. I just woken up, and I was going through X, and I saw this, and I was like, oh my God. And I lost my shit. I laughed so hard. And I wish I had Goat Boy to like read it, because Goat Boy does an incredible impression of Plevin. I can't do a Plevin impression. But Goat Boy's impression of Plevin is just fucking fantastic. Where is that shit? Hold on. Here it is. So let me read this real quick. This is the about the author. Okay, this is the about the author for Plevin's book. And as you read it, you know, I wonder who wrote it. So it says here, Kevin's short fiction has been translated into multiple language. He sold screenplays and, most importantly, guards the recipe for the world's greatest Bloody Mary. Having majored in history, his path took an unexpected turn in his senior year when he began tending bar at the local Bucket of Blood. Okay, so let me get this straight. What happened in his senior year? Because I would love to know that. There's a lot. That is a loaded statement, meaning that it's loaded with questions. It comes with so many questions, people. So I'm assuming he's talking about college because he majored, right? He majored in history. You know, history. I think I remember that course. It was right in between recess and lunch. How do you like them apples? So Plevin majored in history. And so Plevin majored in history, and in his senior year, things took a turn. Okay. In his senior year, things took a turn, and he ended up a bartender. Why? Why? Why would he choose bartending over a future in teaching high school kids history. You know, I mean, I would rather do that. Like, because I've done bartending, and I'm telling you, I would rather teach high school kids history. At least most of them are sober. And then it goes on to say, the local bucket of blood. The vital lesson he learned, both in bar life and as a writer, is that everyone is a hero in their own story. That helped him to anticipate the actions of dangerous men in bars. Okay, never mind. I guess it still makes me laugh. my man said the vital lesson he learned both in bar life and as a writer is that everyone is a hero in their own story, and that helped him to anticipate the actions of dangerous men in bars, get in the heads of even the minor characters in fiction, and understand the actions of witnesses and suspects in criminal cases. What do you mean in fiction? The minor characters of what? What are you talking about? Having co-founded a group of sleuths. What? Having co-founded a group of sleuths, including former law enforcement officers, authors, and lawyers, that looks into cold cases. He welcomes theories, suggestions, and especially tips. The group of sleuths, people. Twattendoffer, Krusty, and fucking douchebag millennial. That's his group of sleuths. Oh, and yeah, no, that's it. That's it. That's his group of sleuths. Dude. Dangerous men in bars, bro. That shit is my favorite. This shit is my fucking favorite. Dangerous men in bars. Oh my fucking god, dude. Oh, dude, I'm not even laughing half as hard as I was when I first read it. Like, not even close. Like, I was fucking dying. Like, literally, dude, not to give you guys like a gross visual, but I wasn't exaggerating in my post on Twitter about it. Like fluids were just pouring out of my face, out of my eyes, out of my nose because I was laughing so hard. Imagine waking up at like fucking 5:30 in the morning and then like seeing seeing this thing where Fleming is going dangerous men in bars. Getting into the heads of dangerous men in bars. Yeah, dude. Like, yeah. That is so fucking funny to me. All right, let's get back to this. Let's get back to the interview.
Not. Is it meant to be a fact book? Is this going to be okay? I'm going to look up what did Higgins say? What did Karen Reed say in the case, or is it more a fictionalized retelling of the characters around the case?
I'm not sure why you would use the term fictionalized because there's nothing.
Wow. Okay. And make sure, guys, for those of you who just shuffled in here, make sure I'm posting it in the chat. Make sure to, and I'm going to pin it too, actually. Make sure to subscribe to Broken Baker. And make sure to give this video a like. The link that I shared is a link directly to the video that I'm going over right now.
What did Higgins say? What did Karen Reed say in the case, or is it more a fictionalized retelling of the characters around the case?
I'm not sure why you would use the term fictionalized, because there's nothing. The only fictionalized part of the book was I did take a stab, and later in the book, on trying to do a chapter from Karen's point of view, and from the point of
Okay. So fictionalized. So you're telling me if you have anything that is considered dialogue from Bukkake, Tully, any of the law enforcement agents, if you're writing a book that depicts the situations, unless you're getting and you're taking them exactly from video footage, a transcript of the actual conversations that took place, or you're getting their word and you sat down and talked to them, Plevin, which you claim you have no contact with, right? Well, then it's fictionalized, dude. It means you made shit up, which is fine. What's up, Broken Baker? Broken Baker's in the house right now, people. So give him a round. And again, make sure to give his video a like. I'm dropping the link in the chat. It is pinned to the top of the chat. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to him if you're not subscribed already. So of course it's fictionalized. Like if you're simulating conversations, then yeah. Dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, and you see that he got all defensive. Like he got all defensive when Broken Baker asked him that, because Broken Baker, all he was doing was just saying, okay, so like, what's the book like? Is it just your opinions? Which is a fair question. Maybe you could have asked it a little better. Who knows? Maybe you could have asked it a little more clearly. But it was obvious to me what he meant by the question. He was basically saying, dude, like, I was reading your book. I'm trying to understand, is it more of a did you have to like fictionalize the conversations, or did you get direct quotes from people? Did you sit down with subjects that are featured in this book and get their account for what happened? Or did you just fictionalize situations? That's exactly what it is. It's fiction. It could be based on a true story, but you'd have to have some sort of facts to reference. But I get what Broken Baker was trying to do here. And Plevin did too. Plevin just got all offended immediately and took it like he was calling him a liar and trying to discredit his book. So right out of the gate, Plevin is defensive. We're 3.5 minutes in, and that's including the intro. And Plevin is already defensive.
point of view that she actually is innocent. That was speculative. Actually, there was one other chapter where I did a speculative chapter on from Paul O'Keefe's point of view, from getting the call that morning. You know, him and his.
So if you're speculating, then it's fiction, bro. Like I could speculate here all day as to what happened inside 34 Fairview. Does that make it nonfiction? If I put it in a fucking book? Just because I'm speculating and I put it in a book, all of a sudden it's not fiction? It's fact? What do you mean, dude?
Him and his wife are in bed and they get the call that John's in the hospital, and that he's in a bad situation. But everything else is meticulously researched, factually accurate. I followed every part of this case in this hearing for a long time. Now, we can disagree on the meaning of facts, but everything in there is factual. And one of the things that we see in this case, and I don't follow your channel enough I don't follow it, so I don't know. So I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that you want to focus on facts too. But
yes,
we have to understand that it's the job of a defense team to try to manufacture doubt by making everything seem odd and putting out a lot of things that may not actually be true. And people in the public, everyone should have the common sense to understand.
Which is why Morrissey hired a defense attorney to prosecute the case.
And that's the job of the defense. And we've got this here nonstop in this case from
it is when your client is
gaps in the
guilty.
library surveillance that didn't exist, non-human hairs, the idea that the feds couldn't, in good conscience, allow this trial to continue. The John's clothing being in the back of Michael Proctor's car for 6 weeks, on and on and on. You know, I don't know why we in the public are so gullible to this stuff, except that there is sometimes a conspiracy theory that we just really, it hits us in a way that we want to believe it. So we stop looking at the evidence and stop looking at the official explanations. I wanted to try to correct that in this book. And I'm sorry about the long answer, Baker.
No, it's fine. I will also give a long answer to your long answer because
no, man, Baker wants you to talk, bro.
what you're saying is inaccurate. You said that defense is saying things that's not true. Did you have a legal consultant on your book?
I'm not answering questions like that. Everything I said in there is factual. There is no
Wait, what?
What you're saying is inaccurate. You said that defense is saying things that's not true. Did you have a legal consultant on your book?
I'm not answering questions like that.
See, why not? Why not? You know what that tells me? The answer is no. Like, I mean, why wouldn't you have a legal consultant to help you with your book? I mean, you claim in the introduction that I just read, about the author, that you've referred to lawyers and ex-law enforcement, a team of sleuths, right? You have a team of sleuths. You co-founded a team of sleuths. Isn't that what you said in the about author? You co-founded a team of sleuths, and are there lawyers on your team of sleuths? So you did seek out and utilize, and that's a good thing, by the way. Yeah, that team is Sean, exactly. Like, that's a good thing, by the way. Like, if you actually did consult with an attorney, with a defense attorney, to get these conclusions, to make these speculations, then that would make you qualified. That would be that would allow you to have some qualification to write this book. I spoke to an attorney. This is what an attorney said. Since I am not one, since all I could do is make an attorney a bloody fucking Mary, well then, it's unreal, bro.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare you?
I gotta know. Thank you so much, Plevin. Talking with Drunk Turkey Guy. It's sad. Who's Drunk Turkey Guy? I don't know what you're talking about. I hope you're not talking about Broken Baker. He's awesome. Yes. If you're going to insult the person who I'm featuring here on my channel here, he's not a guest, but he's a guest in my chat. If you're going to insult them, well, there's at least a $20 super chat minimum. Okay. Get $2 is not going to cut it. That shit'll get you hidden. All right. $20 super chat minimum to insult anybody who I like. Okay.
Everything I said in there is factual. There is no library gap. There is no non-human hair. The hair was matched definitively through DNA to John. All right. So
but
at some point,
what you state.
Thank you so much. Remember, for 60 months, Remy. Thank you so much. Drunk Turkey is a channel. Oh, okay. Got you. Thank you. Exactly. That's the plan, bro. So now, hey, Dolly, do you want to come up here? We'll just make this a day. I mean, you've got to feel confident after my performance on your channel. You got to feel confident. So I'll invite you up here right now if you want to come up. That's up to you. Now, I was about to tell Broken Baker here. I was about to tell Broken Baker here how much of a better man he is than me. This is why I don't have Plevin up here, is because I don't have patience for that condescending shit that he's doing. Like, I would have told him to fuck off. He's like that's why, is I don't have the patience for that shit. I would have gotten rude quickly and been like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. Fuck you. And I would have lost my shit. I'm not good at that shit. I'm not good at that shit. I don't have the patience for it. So kudos to you, man.
What you stated is wrong. If the defense is lying to the court, you saw what Bev said with that payment to the ARCA guys 3 weeks after.
Plevin is getting real nervous. You see him rocking back and forth in his chair. Fun stuff to watch. Now, it's really funny how he got really defensive right here.
A legal consultant on your book.
I'm not answering questions like that.
Why not? It actually helps your credibility to say that you had a legal consultant on your book. Because if I have to sit here and think that you didn't have a legal consultant on your book, I'm reading a book written by a guy who can make a Bloody Mary about a murder investigation. That's what I'm reading. Murder investigations via Bloody Mary bartender guy. Like, that's how I'm taking that. It's not a very good selling point to not at least lie that you had defense attorneys to consult before writing this book.
Everything I said in there is factual. There is no library gap. There is no non-human hair. The hair was matched.
He didn't say anything about that stuff. He didn't even bring that stuff up.
Definitively due DNA to John. All right. So,
but
like, look how mad he is. This is all this, bullshit where you see him on Twitter writing these long-winded bullshit tweets that nobody fucking reads, trying to behave like he's like he's Mr. Classy and he's Mr. Polite and blah blah blah. No, dude, that is a projecting, full of shit, filled with contempt tool. That is what Plevin is. And I see through it, so I don't have the patience for his act. I just don't. Like, I wouldn't be able to do what Broken Baker's doing right here, which is actually getting him to the point to where he shows it himself. I don't have the patience to get him there.
At some point,
what you stated is wrong. If the defense is lying to the court, you saw what Bev said with that payment to the ARCA guys 3 weeks after. It's going to be interesting. I hope you will, of course, agree that she has to admonish Brennan Monday over the lies about the Sallyport camera that we learned from the audit hadn't been changed.
I'm not aware of any lies by Hank Brennan. And first of all,
Hank Brennan said that the camera was changed. That's why they called in. That's in the.
I love it, dude. I love this shit.
Motion to dismiss. It came up yesterday during the audit, and again, Brennan has multiple times made misstatements he had to correct the record of. So, but
okay,
I understand that
you can call them lies. You're not in court. You can call them lies.
That you believe.
Baker, I have to insist on just one distinction in language, since you are someone that reviews books. One of the things that people commonly confuse on the Free Karen Read side, including Nick Rocco, is the difference between a lie and a mistake. All right. So, for instance, Hank Brennan mistakenly said that the emails between ARCA and the defense were given to them by the feds. But 10 minutes later in court, he corrected that mistake. So it's not a lie.
Okay, stop. Now, as confident as I am in Broken Baker making in what he's going to rebuttal to that, what that immediately makes me think of is, if the prosecution's job is to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Karen Read is guilty, well, then there are no room for him to misspeak on a constant basis. There's no explanation or room or excuse for that. What's up, Nan? It's good to see you. There's nothing that justifies that. So either he's lying or he doesn't feel confident enough in his case to be able to state everything as fact. I mean, it's just that simple. Because if you what matters is the result. Whether or not you stated something as fact, whether it's a mistake or whether it's a lie, really doesn't fucking matter, does it? The bottom line is you stated something that wasn't true and you do it consistently over and over again. That's unethical. As a lawyer, you're failing to do your job, to live up to your oath. Farty Marty, thank you so much. It's amazing how little following Plevin has for all the exposure he gets. It should be studied. No. It doesn't need to be studied. It's because people aren't that stupid. People are stupid in the sense that they fucking, there's this thing called a fidget spinner. Oh, everybody fucking needs one now. They're stupid in that sense, like I posted in fucking Twitter, but they're not fucking stupid in the sense that they don't fucking see through this shit. Like self-preservation dictates that you have at least some radar of shitheads like this. You know what I mean? Natural self-preservation, it's an instinct that everyone pretty much has. Most people have. And you see through this guy's bullshit. So that's the thing, is this guy could be on court TV all fucking every goddamn night. It doesn't matter. And he is on court TV almost every goddamn night. And yet his following doesn't grow. What does that tell you? It tells you that people don't listen to this guy because he's full of shit and they can tell. Hey, Glare, thank you so much for popping in today. For sure. He's lying kind of guy. Oh, what's up, DJ? Thanks, buddy. Yeah, DJ has Calling All Beings, and he was on he had Bettero and Brother Council on, which was pretty awesome. At like 11 o'clock this morning. It was great. It's great to see Bettero again.
Incorrect. Bev blew up. Bev blew up, went to her chambers, came back, yelled at the defense. That's when he changed his statements. Again, we are only fact-based. But let's not start yelling so early.
Where do you base that?
Listen, Dina, let me tell you something. That will never, ever, ever happen. That will never happen. Court TV will never have someone like me on their platform. Never. The only way that would ever happen is if I can be honest about how I feel about this case and any other case. Doesn't fucking matter. Like, if I could be honest about it and I could call them out for not talking about everything, because that's what would happen. That's why Court TV will never have me on their platform. Most definitely. It'll never happen because I'm way too publicly critical of them. Sumo, thank you so much. I literally just stopped watching this. Has he said you don't understand how snow melts, yet he's in Denmark? I don't laugh often, but I did to that. You don't understand how snow melts, bro. Plevin is awesome, bro. This is why I can't even like I would get mad at him if I was talking to him. Watching him, I keep from getting mad. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to get mad at Plevin because he's not affecting me directly. You know, like he's just something to laugh at. But if I'm talking to him directly and he's condescending me, then I get, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, you're pissing me off now. You know, like that's totally something that would absolutely happen.
Base that on. Where do you get that from?
I watched.
That's not in evidence.
I watched the court. I watched the court proceeding. He stated that
the camera in the judge's chambers.
No, that's not what I said. He claimed that he had gotten.
How do you know what happened in Bev's chambers?
You see what I'm saying? He won't let him talk. Plevin, this is how you know Plevin knows that Brennan is a fucking liar. These are the games that Plevin plays. He will not let Broken Baker answer the question. Before he asks one question, Broken Baker will try to start to answer that question. Plevin will try to take advantage of it being not his first language, because I saw a clip of this later on, or earlier. I saw a clip of this that somebody posted where he talks about Broken Baker and it not being English, not being his first language. So he's aware of this, and he's trying to take advantage of it, and he's trying to trip him up, and he's trying to confuse him, and he's trying to talk over him, and he's doing so in a very condescending way where it makes Broken Baker look unequipped with information. It makes him look incompetent. And it doesn't make him look incompetent to the common sense person. The common sense person can see that Plevin asks him a question and won't let him answer it. It's just that simple. And he keeps getting frustrated. He's getting frustrated because Broken Baker has an answer. And so when he doesn't trip Broken Baker up with a question where Broken Baker could go, because what happened was, I'll tell you exactly what happened. Plevin agreed to do this because he saw how little subscribers that Broken Baker had. And he judged him based on his subscriber count. Now, I don't know how the subscriber count shit works. I've seen people who are brilliant who have fucking like 1,000 subs, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Dude, I don't understand it. Like, to me, Hannibal and Monty's YouTube channel is the best fucking YouTube channel on YouTube. Easily, without a doubt. It is hilarious. And those guys are really genuine. And they're really talented. And they're organized. And they have set times of when they go live and do their show. And yet they can't pack more than 20 people on average in their chat. And I don't understand it. It's just how it is. It doesn't make sense. That's why I'm always saying how grateful I am, because you just never fucking know. You know what I mean? You just never know what channels are going to pick up and which ones aren't, you know? It just is what it is. So like, but it's really foolish to judge a character. For that reason, it's very foolish to judge a creator by their sub count or how many likes they get on a video or something to that effect. It's foolish. It's very foolish. It's naive.
I mean, this is the problem with this case. Is people just imagine.
Kevin, I was really trying not to, because I was actually planning of having a little clip whenever you made one of your little strawmans, because you're not honest debater. I never said he went into her chambers.
You just lied. You just said that.
Sorry, Plevin, I have to cut you off on your lie. I said he stated she went to her chambers, came back, and he changed his statement. That's what I said. Okay, you don't have to talk over me.
Go replay it back. You said he was admonished in the chambers, and there's no proof of that.
Nope, I never said that. That's a strawman, Kevin. I will go on from this. He had gotten.
How do you know what happened in evidence?
Start yelling.
Where do you feds? But 10 minutes later in court, he corrected that mistake. So it's not a lie.
Incorrect. Bev blew up, went to her chambers, came back, yelled at the defense. That's when he changed his statements. Again, we are only fact-based. But let's not start yelling so early.
So I didn't hear him say anything about what Plevin just accused him of saying.
Where do you base that on? Where do you get that from?
I watched.
That's not in evidence.
I watched it happen. What do you mean, Plevin? We all watched it happen. He makes the statement. They go back to her chambers. She comes back, has a meltdown. Brennan gets up there, says he misspoke. That's what happened. We all watched it. Plevin live streamed it.
I watched the court. I watched the court proceeding. He stated that
the judge's chambers.
No, that's not what I said. He claimed that he had gotten.
How do you know what happened in Bev's chambers? I mean,
he never said nothing about what happened in the chambers.
People just imagine.
Kevin, I was really trying not to, because I was actually planning.
He never said that. He never stated that anything, or he never stated that or what happened inside the chambers. He just said that they went back to her chambers. That's it. That's all he said.
Having a little clip whenever you made one of your little strawmans, because you're not honest debater. I never said he went into her chambers.
You just lied. You just said that.
Sorry, Plevin, I have to cut you off on your lie. I said he stated she went to her chambers, came back, and he changed his statement. That's what I said. Okay,
hold on,
I just
hold on.
want
Sorry, I got to get to the bottom of this.
Bev
15
blew
minutes
up.
later, after in court, he corrected that mistake. So it's not a lie.
Incorrect. Bev
15
blew
minutes
up.
later,
Bev blew up, went to her chambers, came back, yelled at the defense. That's when he changed it.
Bev blew up, went to her chambers. He never said that Brennan went back there with her. He never said that. So Plevin's
Again,
lying.
because I was actually planning of having a little clip whenever you made one of your little strawmans, because you're not honest debater. I never said he went into her chambers.
You just lied. You just said that.
Sorry, Plevin, I have to cut you off when you lie. I said
Well, who's imagining shit here, Plevin? Who's imagining shit? Because I just proved it, Plevin.
He stated she went to her chambers, came back, and he changed his statement. That's what I said. Okay, you don't have to talk over me.
Go replay it back. You said he was admonished in the chambers, and there's no
Nope.
proof of that.
No, I never said that. That's a strawman, Kevin. I will go on from that because
you just made it up, dude. Dude, it's not even true. We don't know where the correction was made. It may have been a defense attorney that came over and said to Hank Brennan, "Hey, listen, you got this wrong."
It happened on national television, dude. We all watched it. What do you mean, Plevin? He came back and he said, "I misspoke." That's what he said. Your Honor, excuse me, I misspoke. I didn't mean to say that the defense or that the federal government shared this email with me. It was the defense that actually shared it with me. I misspoke, Your Honor. That's what he said. Something to that effect. I'm not quoting verbatim, but it was something to that effect. It happened in front of everyone. He admitted to it.
We sent you those emails, and I think that's what happened. And then he corrected it.
Like
but you're making it, you just said he got admonished in the chambers.
No, I didn't say that.
This is typical. This is classic free Karen Reed. Just make something up.
Kevin,
it's unbelievable.
If you don't want to be here because you can't,
stop making.
He never said that. Look how heated it got. It's not even 10 minutes in. It's not even 9 minutes in.
Shut up. That's it. It's that simple. Just stick to facts if you can do it.
I just did. But if you don't have any reason to be here because you just want to yell, I can do the review of your book.
This is the real Plevin. This is why Plevin is not allowed on my show. This is why Plevin will always be a point to laugh at and nothing more to me.
I told you beforehand. I know you want to antagonize because you want to go on Twitter after and say he's an idiot. You've been calling me. Stop. I'll mute you every time you just start yelling over us. Be a grown-up man. You're 58 years old. You are at 31 years older than me. You should be able to debate someone like me. It's not that hard. I was just about to talk about your book. I'm giving you an audience to talk about your book.
There you go.
The first thing I wanted to talk about was the color.
Let him know.
Is there a reason why it's not really Karen Reed related? Because that's a selling point. The first thing you see, the courtroom, the papers, it's a choice. I probably would have had to. I envisioned because
now, there's a lot more people in here now. Make sure, stop what you're doing. Subscribe to Broken Baker. Click on the link that's pinned to the top of the chat. Like the video that we're streaming right now, and make sure to subscribe to Broken Baker.
Because I'm writing my own book on it. A car driving off with a black blob at the side of the road. This one, I don't feel like it kind of gives you the idea what the case is about. So is that the reasoning behind it?
The publisher chose the cover. The publisher chose the title. I had nothing to do with it. The cover, I made covers and suggested them for them, which were different. And the title that I wanted to go was Into the Storm, the Karen Reed trial.
Mine is Into the Triangle, which is funny that I call mine Into the Triangle.
What?
Wow. That is a coincidence. I love
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare you?
Laura Riker, thank you so much. Lies, defends, and deflects. That is what Plevin does, just like Spanky, Breenan, and Broken Baker is 100% right. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. You're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah, Plevin is, dude, the only thing, listen, The only way I would ever have Plevin on here is like I would absolutely like I would clown him. I'm not gonna lie about it. Like, I'm not even gonna try to front about it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm gonna attempt to have a conversation. Now, I'm willing to do that with Dolly Vision. I'm willing to do that with him because, believe it or not, I have actually had conversations with Dolly Vision before that were civil. So I know that he's capable of it. And I know that he knows that I was way too drunk to have that conversation with him that I had last time. So, and he's willing to come up here, and that's fine. Now, if he acts like a douchebag, then I'll treat him like another douchebag. But I know that he's capable of having a civil conversation because I have had them with him before. I've known Dolly for a long time. So I've had them with him before. We don't get along, but I know that he's capable of civil conversation. Plevin has yet to show me that he's capable of civil conversation. He's capable of pretending that he's capable of civil conversation when he's not actually conversing with anyone and he's just tweeting. But he's not actually capable of having civil conversation with people who disagree with him because every result has always been the same. This. So why would I put myself through that? Why would I do what Einstein considers to be insane and engage in that expecting a different result? So I would make it enjoyable and tolerable for myself.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare
Dubra79, thank you so much. The Glare, I just don't understand how or why anyone would ever listen to this clown Plevin. He spews as so much fiction as Spanky. God help Karen that the truth will set her free. This is just frustrating. Yeah, I know. I get it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Why
again,
triangle?
Because I call it the Canton Triangle.
Right.
Because
Like, and no gratitude at all either. You know, like, I'm up here streaming this shit. I got all these people, and the whole world is looking at this dickhead's fucking book cover and the Amazon fucking link for it. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't even understand the favor that he's getting, and he can't even show gratitude for that. Like, otherwise, nobody would give a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck who this guy is.
because there's no sense, no science, no justice.
So it's like the Bermuda Triangle, or
Yeah, it's a play on the Bermuda
triangle has
Triangle.
3 points. What are the other 3 points in your triangle?
I said no sense, no science, no justice.
All right. Okay. So I thought you meant it was based on the location of Canton. Okay. No, I didn't.
No,
choose-
I know.
No,
I don't know what Canton is. It's in America. That's all I know. But no, I made it during the first trial because I felt that
Thank you, Fire Acid.
every time there was anything related to science, Lally would always make up. So I made this: no justice, no sense, no science. So this is my book cover for my book. So just to those friendly people have said I'm an idiot because I haven't wrote a book. I actually this is my second book I'm working on. So that's how it is.
Okay.
But yes, that's actually one of the questions. How many interviews have you conducted with the people you described?
I love that Broken Baker's playing wearing the grifter shirt. It's just like a constant fuck you in this dickhead's face, like as they're talking to each other.
In the book.
Because he's making more sense, you know. So he's wearing this t-shirt of what this guy likes to call everybody, and the word he likes to use to dismiss anybody who disagrees with him, calls them grifters. This guy's wearing a shirt that says grifter, and he's schooling them left and right and making them look like a fucking whiny little bitch.
I wouldn't know how to put a number on that, but one of the problems that we're running into here is I have talked to a lot of witnesses. For example, I'll reveal this here. I have had lunch with Brian Higgins, talked to him fairly regularly.
Okay, so you're gonna sit here and you're gonna brag about talking to Brian Higgins, but you won't discuss whether or not you used a defense attorney as a consultant for your book to give it some credibility. Like, here's the thing, Plevin, is you have Brian Higgins and you had lunch with Brian Higgins. Awesome. I bet you guys were just killing it with the ladies that day, by the way. But you guys were having lunch, and now you're sitting here trying to convince us that that's more credible, when Brian Higgins showed the entire world that he's a fucking liar. On top of, like, I mean, just a pathetic, sad display of a man. On top of everything else, you know, like, to get his perspective, you're looking at a real boring book, because nobody's going to give a shit what he has to say, and plus, the guy's got the personality of wallpaper. So, I mean, why wouldn't you say that why wouldn't you say that you did use a defense attorney as a consultant? Why would you say that? It's helpful. But what that tells me, when you said I wouldn't answer that, it tells me that the answer is no, that you didn't have a defense attorney as a consultant, that you had absolutely no expert consultation for this book whatsoever. No consultation at all. You didn't consult with anyone qualified to consult with to write this book, to back up any of your opinions. Got it.
And at one point got a butt dial for Brian Higgins. But I treat everybody objectively. You try to get to the story and try to find out what happened and then match it to the evidence. A problem with many, not only witnesses, but also with just people in Canton that know the witnesses and know the story and want to talk about it, is everybody, and we're not going to go deeply into this because I know you don't want to, but everybody, it's a fact, they run into, they're terrified of this mob. Because anybody that disagrees with this mob, and this is where I started from in this, is going to be attacked even just for asking questions. So in the summer of 2023, after reading Turtle Boy's article, I began looking into this case. Now, at the time, I didn't know how to get documents, didn't have any documents. And you like to highlight on your Twitter the fact that I said, hey, listen, I was ignorant about all of this stuff, forensic data, autopsies.
No, I never said that on my Twitter. I just say you're a fool because you read it in the total opposite way of many a time.
Yeah, you're interrupting me, but
yeah, because you kind of claimed that I said something. But go on. You didn't know how to do a FOIA and you didn't know how to do it. So then you ran into the mob.
Do you want to answer the questions for me, or do you want me to answer the question?
Yeah, if you just stop making all these strawmen. It's a really bad
I'm not making any strawman. You highlighted.
You said that I on Twitter claimed that's a strawman. Move on.
You highlighted that and put it on your Twitter. All right, but anyways, and you said this is the one thing Kevin has told that is truthful.
Yeah, that's when you call yourself a fool.
He does. That's because
of
that thing behind him, dude.
Dude, you're not very good at this, are you?
Thank you.
I don't know what to tell you. You're not. I'm going to.
I am apparently trash.
I don't know if you're trash or not. I can tell you're not good at conducting interviews because you could have an opportunity to ask me questions and get information out of me, but you don't want to ever let me answer the question. Now, I tried to honestly portray this. I don't have the quote in front of me, but obviously you took my quote where I said I started out this case ignorant about many of the relevant things. I'm not from law enforcement. I'm not a forensic data analyst. I've never done an autopsy. I don't know how the police store evidence and things like that. Those are things that I had to learn, and I have learned them. And by do work.
He learned them, guys. He learned them. That's, geez. So he became an expert on autopsies, on forensics. You know, he's never done these things. So I learned them. Get the fuck out of my face, dude. Shut the fuck up. Stop it. Sumo, thank you so much. Plevin and Higgins killed it with the ladies, went out for lunch. I have now laughed out loud twice in one day. My cats are freaked out by this. Thank you so much, Sumo.
Working hard. But during the course of 2023, I was asking questions. Now, I started out covering this case leading towards the conspiracy because I accepted what was given to me in that Turtle Boy article, as a lot of it seemed to be the kind of thing that couldn't be disputed, such as the 227 search for how long to die in the cold. I ignorantly thought data was just data. I didn't know that the state was going to dispute that and have their own experts. So at the time, I was like, maybe something really happened here. But I was always asking logical questions about whether a conspiracy theory that posits where the killers are going to put someone still alive on their own lawn to die in the cold. Now, as I continued to ask harder and harder questions during the course of that summer, the crowd started to turn on me because that crowd does not tolerate questions. And so this is a phenomena. I've talked to many lawyers and many people that won't put their name out in public or won't get involved in this case because they're terrified of this mob. And it's not because they're pussies, because most of them have family members that they're afraid will be doxxed or they'll go dirt digging. That's been a huge part of the phenomena. I'm not saying you do that. I don't know anything about you, but that is a huge part of the phenomena of what has gone on in this case.
Dude, you know how many times bullshit about me gets posted on Twitter like a day? Like a day, every day. Like, I have never done that to anyone. Never. I've stated my opinion based on facts that have been presented to me. But I have never taken someone's personal information and blasted it out on the internet. I have never taken jabs at somebody's children or their relationships with their children or their relationships with their families or go after their family members. I don't do that shit, man. You know, like, so for Plevin to sit up there and whine about it when that shit happens to me on the daily, and I never do that to fucking anybody, but it happens to me on the daily, and for him to sit there and whine about it like it's happening coming from our side, it's hypocritical as fuck. It's hypocritical as fuck.
Case. Now, what I was saying in that statement there is that I am ignorant of all those things, and I've had to go into learning how they work, and I've done a lot of the job doing that. Now, the people in the Free Care and Read side, probably you, but I don't know. I'm not going to straw man you. You hear something put out by the defense, and instead of looking in to find how it actually works, you go, aha, and then you run off and you get your 20,000 subscribers.
Well, I'm only about to reach 15,000, so but still,
No, like,
this is your actual quote that I highlight.
Let's address this stuff for a second. Let's do that, because I know a lot of you are going to be like, well, just ignore that stuff. Why do you even bother? Blah, blah, blah. Fair enough, right? Fair enough. But see, here's the thing is everyone loves to post like my mugshot and some really half-ass lazy police report, and they never produce an arrest record. They never produce an arrest record. They always say you got arrested for beating women. Never. Never in my life. Never in my fucking life. Like, produce a criminal record of mine. My name's out there. It's doxed. I've been doxed all to hell. My kid's name is doxed on a daily basis. And you know, and honestly, that's probably, you know, it's something that it's always going to bother you a little bit, you know, but the thing is it comes with the territory. You know, it comes with the territory of, I look at these things like, yeah, you know, they're going to do that. Like, my mom's been doxxed and she's been told these insane lies on her. She doesn't have nothing to do with none of this shit. But you know what that does is it tells me that I am on the right side of things. That's all it really does. All it does is tell me, okay, well, these people are just desperate. This is all they have, is to threaten and try to intimidate and then try to make you look like the villain, even though you're not doing anything except putting out the facts and sharing opinions based on those facts about people who are already named in a very high profile case. I'm not putting any new names out there. I don't even know who half of these trolls are. Like, There's a lot of people that are like, oh, that's this person. Read Turtle Boy's article from back in this and this and this, and that's them, right? And that's like a shit ton of people on X, right? And so, you know, I mean, it just is what it is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As somebody who, yeah, this is, this is, dude. I've been at this. I'm new to you guys, but I'm not new to YouTube. I told the whole community basically to go fuck themselves. Like, there's one person, man. I would love it if there's one creator, Deets on the Streets, come to the Force, leave the dark side. She's one of the best. She's one of the best researchers I've ever seen. And if she just left that fucking shitty fucking community behind, she would rock and roll in this fucking community. She would be amazing. It was the best thing I ever did. And that's what's funny about it. What's funny about it is the best thing I ever did was leave that community behind. And I have yet to be upset in this community. As bad as people will like take my information, my past information, and twist it, take documents that aren't even documents and post them like they're documents. You know what I mean? Like, it's just really funny. And then take situations that I've actually been very candid about over the years of being on this channel. Like, there's stuff that they're talking about, and I'm just like, I've talked about, I've been open about that. Now they're twisting the facts on it, and this thing that they keep posting twists the facts, but because that's somebody's account of it, that's somebody's hearsay of it, but they weren't even there. But this is true. This is one of the first things that I told the LV cops when I met them, because it was one of the things that I have in my past that I'm not proud of, because I thought very differently at a certain point in my life, or until a certain point in my life. And when I met the LV cops, I had to tell them about this, because I have so much respect for them, and I have so much respect for the police profession, that it's something that when I talk to those guys, the only chance that I will ever hope to have any real respect from guys like that is if I'm honest with them and upfront about something like that. Because at one point, I absolutely did one of the most disrespectful things to anyone in their profession, and then did it to a bunch of them. And I'm not proud of that. But it's like, it's so ironic how my actions today are contrary on a consistent basis, contrary to the actions of the person that, even though I wasn't the person that they make me out to be, still somebody that I wasn't proud of being. And it's so ironic that me doing things in such contrast to that person, me being the person I am that's in such contrast to that person, is making those type of people so mad that all they can do is bring that shit up and twist it to mean whatever they want, to try to slander me in some way and try to make me look uncredible or anything. Listen, man, your beef, trolls, is with the people, not me. Okay? Your beef is with the people. And I think that I say this because I know the people will own this. I'm just up here doing what I do. That's it. These people enjoy it. They are what give me power. They are the people that have faith in me. And I have this because I'm really grateful for it, because I have been candid with them and I have been very honest with them. I have earned their respect. And I'm very, very proud of that. So you can do all these things all you want, but all it does is show exactly the character behind the message you're trying to send. You're trying to say that the McAlberts are innocent people, but you're acting like the kind of people that we think the McAlberts are. Interesting, right? Yeah. Let that marinate for a second. Okay. And on top of that, the rest of us, everyone who hangs out outside, those people who have had their rights violated, where they can't even peacefully protest, who haven't done anything wrong, they're showing the world this. And what are you showing them? Trolling the internet on fake names, spreading lies about people, thinking that it's going to turn people's opinions about us. People see actions. You underestimate people. And the reason why you underestimate people is because you're not one of us. You can't relate to us. You lack humanity. You can't relate to the rest of us. So troll all you want. I've been dealing with it for years. Dox all you want. Talk lies all you want. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody does. Why do you think Turtle Boy gets more and more and more and more popular? You think it's just because he continues to put out the content that he puts out? No. It's because your hatred for him, the character behind the hatred for him, gives him credibility. When people like you hate someone like Turtle Boy, it makes people see Turtle Boy and go, well, okay, this guy's being railroaded. So keep it up. We all fucking love it. That's what you don't get. And I'm not giving away any secrets here. The fun part about this is that I know you're not going to stop. Even though I'm giving you nuggets here. I'm giving you our whole game. Nuggets. And yet, you're still going to be just as stupid, just as irrational, just as cunty. Just like Plevin is here with Broken Baker.
Highlighted that you are not smart, that you are strong for knowing that, and that you can't fix a car. Not what you just claimed. So again, Strawman 2.
I'm not quoting it. Do you think I'm going to quote it?
You just
word by word?
said that I posted up. But back to the book. Back to what I was actually asking about. You claim you interviewed people. You have a lot of internal monologue. Is this from people?
Internal monologue. I love it. Hold on. Let me go over a couple of these because I was on a rant and I want to not skip anybody here. So the Goodmans gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you, the Goodmans. Mary Murphy, thank you so much. The first time I watched your channel, Summer Wells, right? And you could see that my integrity is intact. Grandmaster Sid Sophos, thank you so much. Love you, buddy. Haven't seen you in a while. It's great to see you always. The Glare has championed the corner of the oppressed and downtrodden for over 4 years. Well, over 5, but I wouldn't. Wow, dude. That's laying it on a little thick. But thank you, buddy. Liz gifted another membership. Thank you so much. Oh my. And hold on here. What am I doing? Oh, here we go. And then Carla, Ohio, gifted a membership as well. All right, let's get into this. And Laura H, member for 5 months. Thank you. We love you, Will. You're one of the good guys. Thank you so much.
People, or is this made up?
You're gonna have to point this
word by word. You just said that I posted up. But back to the book. Back to what I was actually asking about. You claim you interview people. You have a lot of internal monologue. Is this from people or is this made up?
You're gonna have to point to something specific, otherwise you're
the story about Higgins and his why he chose to become a DEA agent, as one example.
I talked to Brian Higgins,
and he said that while he was writing Convoy Security, that's where he fell in love with planning.
Well, so Brian comes from a 4th generation line of firefighters in Cambridge. And
yeah, I read that part. But that's not what I asked. Again, I asked you because you claimed that he became a DEA agent.
If you're going to keep interrupting me, I'm just going to have to go because you interrupted me 13 seconds into the answer. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Then answer my question.
Yeah, it's like answer the question. Don't go on a fucking. He's trying to control the not the narrative, but he's trying to control the time and manage time and make sure to get through as much as possible. So to cut the bullshit, he wants you to answer the question and not start going off on a tangent and talking about other things. Not use his question as an opportunity to run your mouth. Just answer the fucking question.
If I'm answering the question, if you're not going to let me answer the question, I'm just going to go because you're just a waste of everybody's time. You know, I'm sure it's perfect for a dumb audience.
Like
but,
this is the real Plevin.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to answer to you the question to what Brian.
This is the real Plevin, people. Like totally unhinged, completely disrespectful, rocking back and forth in his chair, just totally confrontational, has absolutely no social skills whatsoever. I mean, look at him. He lives in a fucking attic, for fuck's sake.
Instead, and if you're going to interrupt me again, I'm just going to leave because it's not worth my health. You know, Brian Higgins had reached lieutenant of the fire department, but feeling a sense of patriotic duty as the Iraq War was heating up, he decided to enlist. He had been in the Army Reserves in the 90s, so he did have.
That's what's going on right here. This is what Broken Baker was trying to avoid because he's already on to Plevin. He already knows what his game is. So Plevin is going to fluff Brian Higgins. He's going to sit there and massage his asshole, metaphorically speaking. Make him look like this amazingly great, wonderful guy. Tell Brian Higgins' whole backstory like he's fucking Chris Kyle and shit. Like, come on, dude. Nobody gives a fuck about all that, dude. Like, look at this guy.
Brian Higgins did, and if you're going to interrupt me again, I'm just going to leave because it's not worth
He
my
gets
health.
so mad.
Brian Higgins had reached lieutenant of the fire department, but feeling a sense of patriotic duty as the Iraq War was heating up, he decided to enlist. He had been in the Army Reserves in the 90s, so he did have the military training, and he decided to enlist to go over and help out in Iraq. Then when he comes home, he's got his job back on the fire department. Now I asked him he had a friend that was in the DEA, had been in the DEA for his whole career. This is the guy who had been one of Brian's best friends. And did I say, I'm sorry, ATF. And so this guy tried to get him to recruit him to come into it, and he was interested. And I tried to get to the bottom of why he no longer wanted to be a firefighter. But when you try to ask these questions to people, it's not always an easy thing. It's because you're asking someone to do a little bit of soul searching. So I said, for instance, did you miss the adrenaline of being in combat? And now you wanted something a little more active than sitting around waiting for a fire. And he said, no. He goes, I think more, it's just the fire department is kind of sitting around waiting for something to happen. Whereas in the military, you're planning missions. And so it was a more active part of your mind to be engaged in these things. That's all I was going to answer, brother.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question because you state in your book that it was because of the planning he did while in Iraq that he wanted to change career path. Then he talked to his dad.
What I just said there. No, seriously, you couldn't follow the answer that I just said there. That it was the planning, not the adrenaline. It's the active part of mission.
Yes, I'm asking you.
You really couldn't follow that.
Did he state that it was the planning? Because that's what you write in your book. And then
I just explained it to you. What's the point of asking someone
what was his role in the military?
It was 100% consistent with what I said in the book. And for some reason,
I am asking a clarifying question to what you stated in the book, because as I understood the book,
clarified it.
No, I'm asking again because you didn't answer my question. Was Brian Higgins a private?
Baker.
Lieutenant? What was his?
Baker. You need to chill the fuck out. You know who you're dealing with? You're dealing with somebody who is experienced in dealing with dangerous men in bars. Dangerous men in bars, bro. I love it. That's my favorite shit ever.
Next question, dude. I just answered your question, and it's ridiculous to say that I
Okay,
didn't.
so he wasn't a C4, and you just made that up. That's okay.
I didn't make anything up. I just gave you the answer, which was 100%. Even with a half a brain would see that what I just said was 100%. Now I know why you believe in the conspiracy. You just got right.
Wow.
Clevin,
there we go.
Do you wonder why people don't like you when you keep yelling at people?
I know why, because they're idiots.
Do you know why people don't like you? I know why, because they're idiots like you. Bro, look at you, dude. Look at you. Like, dude, how can you sit here and talk about I follow the evidence and I listen to logic and blah 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 blah, and like not see yourself and realize that you're a fucking jackass? That is amazing to me. It is amazing.
Like you. No, because you never provide anything.
You're so dumb.
If you want, okay, let's take it. I didn't want to do this because I wanted to be fair to you. I don't want it. What day did this happen?
I just answered your question.
What day did this happen?
What day did what happen?
When was John O'Keefe killed?
January 29th.
What day was that?
What day? It was a Saturday. Let me ask you a question.
No, stop it.
No,
you just got 5 minutes to yell at me.
Question, and that's fair. I just asked you a quick question.
Why did you miswrite in?
Actually read the book. I want to see if you actually read the book. Did you
that you misstated what day it happened?
I wanted to, just a simple question. Did you read the chapter where I described Michael Proctor, his earlier life before becoming a cop? Did you read that chapter, or what he does now, any of his habits or hobbies?
Did you
early in the book? And if you actually read the book, you'll have an answer on this. So this just proves to me you didn't read
I read your entire book. I won't be able to give you everything that was because it's very disjointed. And
give me one little thing about Michael Proctor's background, some of his interests.
That he had an impeccable record. He had a 10-year service on the force. You described him as, was it him who played baseball in third division, or was that Yannetti?
Yes, thank you. That's good enough.
You talk a lot about who played baseball.
And then
my question is why?
And then he won't let him fucking do it. Like, that's enough. That's enough. Thank you. Yeah. Like, fuck you. You told me to fucking describe to you, prove to you that I fucking read your stupid little fucking fluff on Proctor, and I fucking read it, jackass. Now you got to listen to me fucking prove it. So fuck you. Shut up. It's my show.
Why did you get it wrong? What day it was? Because you claimed it was Saturday night, which it wasn't. It was Saturday morning. When did the trip to Aruba take place?
Early January, New Year's Eve.
When do you have New Year's Eve in America? Because in Denmark we have it in December. It's a basic mistake. You just make that.
This is really where you're going to go. All right. So I've got all of the.
No, I really think you should have had an editor because you make so many times you make the same mistake.
You've already lost. This is how.
No, I gotta know what he's talking about. Did he say that it was like January 31st or something? That New Year's Eve was January 31st? Because he's like, here in Denmark, we have it in December. Right, December 31st. Like, when did Clevin say New Year's Eve was? I gotta know.
Buddy, you didn't even get simple facts right in your book, and that's
and he's that, like, Broken Finker was like, yo, I wasn't even gonna fucking do this, bro. Like, why did you get me to this point, dude? Like, now I'm mad at myself, bro, because like I wasn't even gonna fucking go here, dude. I wasn't even going to go as low as to point out the fact that you didn't even have enough sense to get a goddamn fucking editor, and to fucking, you went and you printed a goddamn book full of typos. The fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like, and so, and I wasn't even going to fucking point that shit out, dude, because I wanted to keep the shit highbrow. You know, like, I wasn't about to sit there and fuck with your grammar if we're sitting there tweeting and going and having an argument on X, and then I go, oh, blah, 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 which I do sometimes. I do. But I'm saying it's still pretty lowbrow, like, to point that out. It's just like, you know, like that's that. So I get that Broken Baker, but he's making a good point. It's valid because it's like, dude, you wrote a book. How do you expect anybody to believe that you know what you're talking about when you couldn't even get simple dates right? I mean, simple, basic facts of the case you couldn't get right. And you expect us to think that you're this complex expert? You're an expert on all the complexities involving the investigation? Get the fuck out of my face, dude. You're a clown. You're a fucking clown. Like Plevin, you're a fucking clown, dude. Your name is Plevin. It will always be Plevin. It doesn't matter what that fucking stupid book says. The book, the writing of the book, and the way it's written, according to Broken Baker here, says that your name is Plevin, that the name on the front doesn't matter. Your name is Plevin. And remember, I gave you that name. I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy, Plevin, because I fucking named you. Daddies named their bitch babies. Okay? Daddies do that. They name the babies they love and they name the ones they don't. Like you. Plevin. They named them names like Plevin. Names with no love. Suitable names. Fitting names like Plevin, when the writing of the book apparently seems to be written by a guy named fucking Plevin who couldn't get simple dates right.
Big problem. I didn't want to go on and start yelling, but you want to antagonize. You called me an idiot, and you can't.
And what you're doing is petty. Do you not see that? All right.
What I do is petty. Okay, are you going to give?
Plevin has been fucking defensive from the beginning. Plevin has been defensive from the beginning. Like, second, this is Court TV's fucking expert, bro. This is Court TV's this is why, dude. Like, I can't. You know what I mean? Like, listen, Court TV, if you're watching, as if I'm willing to negotiate. I'm willing to negotiate, but you'll never, ever, ever, ever agree to what my demands would be. You would never agree to it.
Second edition, where you will mend all the mistakes you made in this book.
I
doubt there are any mistakes in this.
I can't. I just can't with a fucking network that has this guy on there as their fucking expert to speak on behalf of the prosecution. It's so, like, at least get a bullshit, shitty, just get some fucking ambulance chasing asshole lawyer, dude. You know what I mean? One that can fucking lie. That's not in a goddamn attic. You know, somebody not in a fucking attic. Somebody who can fucking, like, at least put a fucking green screen of books behind them, bro. Anybody. Like, anybody. Throw some glasses on some fucking fifth-rate actor, like $100. Throw this on. Here's your bullet points. Just pretend to fucking know what you're talking about. You do so much better than having this fucking idiot on there. Look at this clown. This is how this guy promotes his book. This is how he promotes his book.
In this book, but there's always
can you explain to me why the federal investigation has to adhere to Brady?
Yeah, it's not the investigation that has to adhere to Brady rules. What it is, and you're out of state, and you're obviously someone that doesn't like to do research. But the fact is,
that brother, if you're going to call someone dumb, you better know the rules. That's all I'm going to say.
Brady versus Maryland, okay, was a Supreme Court decision. Okay,
that Lally violated, that Brennan violated. Yes, I know Brady violations.
So
yes,
question, and you said you're going to jump to something else. All right.
No. You asked. You claimed multiple times that
Lally violated nothing because he did not. There's no evidence that he intentionally failed to turn over.
That doesn't matter. You have to go look at the Brady violation. No, Rule 14. Rule 14 says anyone who acts as an agent of the state connected to the case must turn over every piece of evidence that could potentially be exculpatory. You know the rules.
The judge has already ruled on this. Okay, so I don't want to go.
Have you read Rule 14? Have you read Brady?
Yeah.
Or are you just saying things because you saw it in a courtroom? I can get you Rule 14 and send it to you because it says every.
Why don't you go back and read the motion? Why don't you go back and read the judge's ruling on what you just call the Brady violation by the state? The judge laid it out very clearly. If you know how to read, you can read that and find out exactly why it's not the result of a dismissal here. There's no evidence that anybody.
I never said it was anything to do with a dismissal, but when you misstated in your book
what is your question? All right, this is just stupid. You don't even want to have.
I have to mute him again because he keeps interrupting. He doesn't want to answer questions. In your book, you state that the federal investigation should have turned over all evidence to the state. Is that correct? Because that's not what Brady is. It would be Tui Rodriguez. But when do you have to follow a Brady? Do you know these facts, or is it again just something that is not fiction? Factual?
God.
You're not going to shut up.
Damn, bro.
The floor is yours, brother.
Yo, what in the fuck? My man just came out and just dude, I gotta hear that one more time.
Anything to do with a dismissal, but
Result of a dismissal here. There's no evidence that anybody from the
I never
state
said it was anything to do with a dismissal. But when you misstated in your book
What is
that
your question? All right, this is just stupid. You don't even want to have.
I have to mute him again because he keeps interrupting. He doesn't want to answer questions. In your book, you state that the federal investigation should have turned over all evidence to the state. Is that correct? Because that's not what Brady is. It would be Tui Rodriguez. But when do you have to follow a Brady? Do you know these facts, or is it again just something that is not fictional?
You're not going to shut up. You're not going to shut
God.
up.
If you doesn't answer my question, yes, I will.
Brady versus Maryland means that if one branch of the government has exculpatory evidence to a defendant, and they are required to give it over. Now, there's a process that's called the TUI process, and so once the federal government is formally requested by either defense or by the prosecution to turn over any exculpatory material, they have no choice. They have to turn it over.
Can I reply? Who was charged in the federal investigation?
Nobody.
Okay, so no one was a defendant, and no one should have Brady
That's not what it
turned
means.
over.
Wow. I can't even believe
It is exactly what it
any
means.
defendant. No, it's not what it means, dude. You have to look it up. I can't even believe you're saying this. I give you a little pass because you're not American, I guess. But no, I'm not giving you a pass.
Well, I actually have lawyers on my team.
Process. You have morons on your team because everybody understands here. Both
you have morons.
Again, I have to mute him because he can't do anything other than doing his strawman bullshit where he'll call everyone a moron. You clearly don't understand Brady. And again, if the feds are looking to you, they don't have to call you and say, hey.
I love watching Plevin just fucking oh my God. It's so wonderful.
Hey, brother, I have evidence against you when they don't bring charges.
So
please
bad.
stop calling people
so
morons
right
and
now.
try to act like a 58-year-old man instead of a girl who is in a screaming fight in school.
Are you done?
Yeah, please answer my question.
Listen,
you
just said it's completely untrue. The idea that it has to be a
How
federal
did they not
defendant.
catch
No,
this live?
the
Nope.
processing.
That's not what I said.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, if you interrupt me again, that's it. I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. You're an
Then
ignoramus.
stop making your strawman arguments.
I can't take it. I can't take it.
What you just said is wrong. You just said it's wrong. You said it has to be a federal defendant.
This is the best.
You didn't say that.
I didn't say it had to be a
You
federal
did.
defendant. I said
That's
there
what
was
you
no
said.
charges raised, and they don't have to tell you if they're looking at you. That's what I said.
They have
I
to
don't know
tell-
if it's willfully that you won't listen, or it's because you know
You're an
you're
idiot.
wrong.
Dude, listen, they have to
You're an idiot.
give over every exculpatory
I
material.
can't believe this went on for 2 hours. Like, how I can't believe Plevin hasn't rage quit yet.
For a defendant in their case.
What's the
That's
defendant?
simple. The defendant is Karen Reed.
In the federal case?
The defendant, listen, she is a defendant, and the feds are investigating whatever they're investigating. If they,
No, this is so much fun because like we're just like I'm just trying to like keep everybody kind of hyped for this week. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to stay hyped. And so like that's all this shit is about, you know, going live today, just hanging out, gearing up, getting ready. And like at the last minute, like I decided to go over this. And like I'm so glad I did. I'm so fucking glad I did. This is so much fun.
if they get a request that says, do you have exculpatory material on this defendant, whatever she's charged with, they have no choice but to turn it over, and they put it through the TUI process to make sure it adheres to their guidelines. This is factual, and if you want to understand things, I'm willing to explain things to you, but you don't really want to understand it.
I can't.
Well,
It's also logical.
you just don't know anything what you're talking about. I'm sorry
You're so
that
ignorant. It's almost unbelievable. Didn't you research this before you actually got on the air?
Yes, I did my research, but you clearly didn't. You also claimed that federally
just
known
made claims that don't make even logical sense. The idea that the feds are entitled to sit on information that could exonerate Karen, no, that wouldn't even pass the smell test.
This isn't a federal case.
Would that fly?
That's
It's
why
not-
they made
that's
that.
not
That's
what
why
it-
they
no,
had the
TUI
Tui
process-
Rodriguez.
You don't even know what the TUI process is. The TUI process is for cases that are between different agencies. This is why
Yes,
a federal,
that's why it's not a
between
Brady
federal-
violation when you call it that in your
Yes,
book.
it is. Of course it is. Of
No,
course it is.
Brady
Oh,
is a part of TUI. You should know these things. But
no,
second,
Brady is what triggers TUI. Brady is the ruling that
Like-
later on they added the TUI process to explain.
What's funny is Plevin might be right about that, but it's still funny.
Process that the Feds
He's so fucking mad.
must, or that everybody must go through to get this evidence from one branch of the government to another branch of the government.
you claim that Beverly Canoni was about to release the material from the federal investigation that was under a federal protection order.
He's not
Where
right.
do you have that information from?
That
I
was in
don't
the
know.
hearing last year.
Is Nan still in the chat? I have to ask Nan. Is that true? That like who's right about the Tui and Brady stuff? Like, is Tui part of Brady? Or is Brady part of Tui? How does that work?
It was last April. It was the Boston Globe applied an amicus saying that they believed that the public was entitled to the information in the federal material. And she didn't have to grant that hearing, but she did grant that hearing.
Baker is
And
correct.
in that
Okay,
hearing, she
just
made
making
clear that she
sure.
was inclined to, that because the protective order, because she had never signed it, that it didn't apply to her, and she was inclined to make it public. And the U.S. attorney, which had stayed arrogantly above and refusing to appear in her court or answer anything, suddenly they popped in to threaten to take over the trial into federal court.
When did they pop into trial and claim to take over the case?
They didn't pop into trial. They sent a letter after the day after that hearing. They sent a message to the court. And they cited, I forget the name of the case, but there was another case, a rarely used case where the feds can take over a trial. I think the last time it was used was during the Jim Crow South, when there was an FBI agent who was attacked by white supremacists and defended himself, but in this southern state was charged with murder. So the feds used this 200-year-old statute in order to take it into their custody and then dismiss the case. That's what they threatened. That's the case that they cited.
So you're saying that the feds were about to take over a state case?
I'm not saying they were about to, but they implied that they could if she released any of that material, particularly the federal grand jury material.
I'm pretty sure she kept everything under wraps. We haven't even seen the archive
She did
report
because she got probably
because she was under a federal protection order.
Yeah.
Do you know what would happen to even a judge?
That's
Wait.
wrong. She never signed a protection order. She was not under federal protection order. Only the
So
defense.
if I don't
prosecution
sign a
signed it.
protection order, Brennan can
That's right.
call.
Dude, that is such a fucking semantic fucking argument right there. It's the judge. Who gives a shit? Like, she doesn't want that fucking shit out there. She doesn't have to sign it. Like, it doesn't interest her to put that shit out there. Of course, it's got to be between the defense and the prosecution. She's the judge.
Call me, and I can
different
leak whatever I want because I'm not. Is that how a protection order works? Or did
There
you
are-
again just
in this-
make it up on the fly?
No, you got things wrong all the time. You just sit back and listen and learn, okay, dude? In this country, we have what's called dual sovereignty. So we have the federal
Right.
system, and then we also have the state system. So with the courts, you have federal courts and you have state courts, and they each have areas that of the law that they apply, and there also is some overlapping too. So in this system here, the judge Canoni has no way to enforce a rule over a federal court or over the U.S. Attorney's Office, but they don't have any authority to enforce things over her too. They have rare situations like this where they can cite a law, a 200-year-old law, where they can threaten to take over the case. But this is, and Judge Canoni made clear, you can go back and watch the hearing, dude. I'm sorry if you weren't following the case back then or were sleeping or something.
It's
But
clearly not me who has a problem following along, but that's
yeah,
that's
you
fine.
can't follow. You don't even seem to be aware of this hearing or what went on. I'm sorry you missed it, man. I streamed it on my channel. You can go back
What's
and
the
watch it.
supremacy clause in the Constitution?
I don't know. I don't remember that. Is
Oh,
that something
no,
we
you don't.
discussed in the book?
That makes them have the right to do it. But again, they have the right to put a gag order on Beverly, no matter if she writes her little scriptlets underneath or not. If they put out a protective order, it's protected. So again, that's why I don't understand if your book. I don't understand if your book is faction or fiction because you keep on making statements that you have no factual.
I just schooled you on everything happened. But let me ask you a question. What do
I
you
think
say-
only in
let me
your
ask you a
mind.
question.
I think it's only in your mind you school anyone because you just yell, and what you
don't
say
know.
is wrong. It's clearly
I only
wrong.
I only yell because you interrupt all the time and state things that are factually wrong, such as what you just said about the TUI report. So, but I want to ask you, I think it's important because you have an audience here, and they need these people ignore questions. I want you to answer. What do you think about the GPS that is the most accurate location data in the world that shows
that you never ever looked into GPS? That's another thing that you have a big mistake.
School me, Baker. Tell me how the GPS shows.
Have you ever spent time in the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force? You never. Do you know that there's a built-in discrepancy in GPSs for commercial use?
There is a discrepancy that comes with the signal strength, which is always measured from second to second.
No. Do you know that there's a built-in? Because do you know there's some bad guys out there who really like to make things goes boom?
So what is your theory here?
I don't have a theory other than I say that you're wrong about what GPS is.
The GPS is accurate and it shows that John never went in the house. And you're putting out something here that the defense
No, again,
so please put it out there. Maybe the defense is watching and they can learn from you. Explain how John's phone could have went in the house.
But again, you don't know anything. You're just basing it on you saw 5 circles on.
Explain it to your audience how that GPS data could be wrong.
If you could shut the fuck up for 2 seconds instead of, why are you so bad at this? You always want to go on other channels and you just want to yell. I really wanted to give you a fair shake. I would bring up all the mistakes you made in your book.
Give me a break. You're bringing up something like, I don't even know what
you're talking about. So you
haven't brought up anything.
I'm trying to answer you and you're calling me all names in the book. I am really sorry that this is the best the free Karen Reed, anti-Karen Reed side has. If Kevin is what you send out to win.
Explain to them how that GPS could be inaccurate.
Okay, I can tell you how the GPS can be inaccurate. If you will shut the fuck up while I do it. Do you know there's an inbuilt discrepancy? No, you don't do that. Because commercial GPSs must not be as accurate as military ones. If you have ever, and I know you haven't, sat and held a military calibrated GPS in your hand, you will see how it'll fluctuate because it has to triangle with different satellites. That's how it works. Do you know anything about how weather patterns influences?
Yeah, commercial GPS is not going to fucking utilize that because it costs them too much money. They would have to charge the customer an insane amount of money for their phone service. So it costs way too much money. So that's why it's not as accurate. So what Baker's saying, I don't know how true it is, but he sounds pretty credible so far. And that sounds like it makes a lot of fucking sense. You know, like commercial fucking GPS is not going to have the same use of satellites that military GPS is going to use because military GPS has to utilize it all. And for, like I said, for commercial to use it, it would cost way too much money. They don't want to spend that much. That's why when you call a customer service line, you get somebody with a really strong accent because they're in some country where they can pay them 25 cents an hour. They don't have to pay them minimum wage here to do that. They could pay them fucking nothing in some fucking third world country. So do you think that those kind of companies are going to spend that kind of money on the most accurate possible GPS when the military needs it? No. They probably don't even get access to it. They're probably not even allowed, even if they wanted to.
Radio signals and GPS signals. No, you don't, because you don't care about it, because you are never looking at facts. You're just making assumptions. You can have bouncing signals on clouds. That's actually why it's really hard to use HF radios in war, because you use a near inverse signal dispersion where you throw it up to the clouds and they won't always cooperate. You can't tell me. That's why there's this big circle, the small circle, the big circle. So you can't tell me where that phone was at any point. You can't triangulate via GPS. That's why if you follow along, I know you never do anything else than just talk Karen Reed. If you followed along in the urologist case, you will find out that they pinged the GPS and it was way away from where the phone was because GPS isn't accurate. That's why when you drive along on a road, it'll put you on another road if there's an overpass. This is common knowledge.
Bro, it's common sense, bro. How many times are you driving using your fucking GPS and then the next thing you know, it goes recalculating route. And you're like, what the fuck? Never forget that. I'll never forget yelling at GPS. lady's talking to you, just recalculating route. Fuck you. Like, it happens all the time.
Well, it's for anyone who have ever not tried to just lie to make money.
Can I answer your question? Or I want to answer
Yeah,
this by
but
asking you.
please tell me how it works.
I can't say anything. I'm going to So I'm going to ask you a simple question. If what you're saying is a true and fair way of raising doubt about that evidence, why didn't the defense attorneys do it?
They did. They said you couldn't pinpoint it in that circle.
No. Yes, but they didn't raise any objections about the accuracy of those circles.
No, because all of those circles.
If you haven't already, make sure to click on the link at the top of the chat and subscribe, like this video, and subscribe to Broken Baker, because he's doing a great job here.
Where one of them actually covered the side of the house. That's when you claimed she threw the phone out of the car door.
Listen, the accuracy is always measured from second to second. They don't, because they always know the signal strength that's coming in. There was only a 4-second period where the signal strength weakened enough that the margin of error expanded to include the house. Only a 4-second period, and that's it. The defense did not dispute that. The only thing the defense tried to dispute was that somehow the clock was off, that the GPS was attached to, because they were trying to make it seem it was ridiculous, but they were trying to make it seem plausible that Rich Green's health app conclusion of going up and down the stairs could have been plausible, since we know that according to the GPS, when Rich Green thought that period that begins where they could have been going up and down stairs, they were actually still driving there.
Oh, yeah. You're asking me technical questions. I read in your book that you buy that stupid explanation. You don't really.
Why didn't the defense raise this? I just want you to answer that simple question, if it's okay.
They actually mentioned it on cross that it wasn't accurate. You know that. You watched the case.
That's not, no, but they didn't mention any of the stuff that you just said there about signals pinging and military and it's.
Have you ever? Yeah, I know from your book you served on a jury. Do you know what jurors are not? Technical wizards who, after 4, 5, 6 weeks of trial, want to hear about how different weather patterns can distort signals, because
oh my God, that is weak, dude. Come on. They're not. We just had.
Okay, this is weak. You in your book buys into that.
I mean,
the 3 flights.
There was a blizzard. There was a blizzard, and the fact of the matter is Richard Green. He said himself that Apple Health data. He explained the GPS. He's like, all it gives you is that wide circle. John O'Keefe's phone could have been anywhere within that circle. So part of that circle is inside the house. So he also said that Apple Health data was 98% accurate. So 98% accuracy dictates that if that says he went up 3 flights of stairs or went up and down, doesn't tell you whether he ascended or descended, but ascending or descending 3 flights of stairs on your 98% accurate Apple Health data dictates that you were inside that house. Period.
Flights of step was by driving. Have you ever used your phone and it gave you 3 flights of step while driving?
I never look at it.
God,
I never look at the health. I never look at health app.
Would you, because you're such an honor and fact-bound person, go out and try it and show to me how it works? You can go to Canton right now and drive the same distance and show to me how it works. Are you willing to do that?
I'm not willing to drive to Canton just to run an experiment for some dude named the Baker.
Okay, because
some dude named the Baker. Jody, thank you so much. Thank you for helping with my hangover. Cheers, Will. Mass loves your ass. I love Mass too. I love Mass's ass. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is really, really ridiculous, man. It's just very, very funny. Thank you so much, Jody.
Because you know it's bullshit.
But you can because you can look.
You know it's bullshit.
All right, I'm gonna.
So that's what's really funny is, like, that's a really good question, because it was nothing for Turtle Boy to jump into his car, and Robin G gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Robin G. And oh my God, Michelle Smith gifted 10 memberships. Oh my God. Gifts galore. Gifts galore. God bless us, everyone. It is a cornucopia of gifts.
I'll try to
You know
answer.
it's bullshit.
Yeah, like
Listen,
it was nothing for Turtle Boy to get into his car. This is what's really interesting. Like, this is Plevin's whole thing is like he's anti-Turtle Boy. I'm up against a mob. I'm up against a crazy mob. I'm taking on an entire mob all by myself. That's Plevin's whole bullshit narrative, right? And yet, like, if you're so anti-Turtle Boy, why don't you just disprove Turtle Boy's shit? Like, it's that easy. Turtle Boy got in his car and went over to Canton and drove up and down those streets to find out if his Apple Health data read them as going up and down stairs. Very simple. Of course they didn't. Plevin, why don't you do it? Why is it so difficult for you to do it? Why can't you just be like, you know what? Turtle Boy did that. I don't believe him. I'm going to jump in my car. I'm going to disprove it. You're local. That's exactly what I would do if I was local. I would just absolutely just fucking contradict everyone's shit. The guy, if my whole narrative is being anti this guy, I'm going to do everything anti this guy. Everything Turtle Boy does, I'm going to fucking go out to disprove. But the problem is there's one reason why he never does it, is because he knows he can't. Because Plevin is fully aware of the fact that he is 150% full of shit. So full of shit that it's oozing out of his fucking ears. Mostly out of his mouth. 150% full of shit. And he 150% fucking knows it.
When you look, first of all, Rich Green is a guy that's lied to the police, arrested multiple times. He's a scoundrel, right? So, but I don't.
He's what?
He's a scoundrel, but I'm sure he's a typical defense expert for hire.
Now, hold on.
You know it's bullshit.
All right, I'll try to.
You know it's bullshit.
Listen, when you look, first of all, Rich Green is a guy that's lied to the police, arrested multiple times. He's a scoundrel, right? So, but I don't.
He's what?
He's a scoundrel, but I'm sure he's a typical defense expert for hire. He's a gunfighter.
So you said he perjured himself on the stand.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, no, he didn't say that, actually. He didn't say that. He said he lied to the police.
I would say that.
You know, that's illegal to lie on the stand.
I didn't say that. All right.
You just said that he didn't tell the truth.
That's not what I said. Rewind it. Show me where I said that. Show me where I said. I said he's a scoundrel. I didn't say he didn't tell the truth.
So he did tell the truth.
Yeah, he said he lied to the police.
Interpret evidence in the most favorable light to help his client.
Of course.
Now,
so does true
Followed by, and you know, I always have to be fair here, folks. Plevin didn't say that he lied on the stand. He said that he lied to the police, and then he followed that up with was arrested several times. So I took that to mean that when he was arrested, he lied to the police, and that's what Plevin meant. So, and that he's a scoundrel, right? But he never said that he perjured himself on the stand. He didn't even imply it. Well, actually, he kind of implied it. He did imply it, because if he's bringing that up, then he's calling him a liar. He's saying that he's not credible, and so he's implying that he would perjure himself on the stand. So, I mean, I don't know what Plevin's trying to like convince anybody here of. What's the point of bringing up Green being arrested and lying to the police if you're not arguing that he would lie on the stand? I don't understand the point of bringing that up, because that's actually exactly what you're implying. So it really doesn't matter if you said it. I mean, that's what you're saying, pretty much. And I think that's why Broken Baker's mind went there. You know, like it jumped ahead. You know what I mean? Like he took it to mean what it meant, and then he was like, that's what he said. You know what I mean? So I get where Broken Baker was coming from there too.
Same as lying. Yes.
Okay, then don't imply that he lied.
No, I'm implying that he is selectively taking pieces of data instead of looking
So
at all of the
does
evidence
Tuba
to the conclusion. That's to a degree, that's fair and that's true.
No, not to a degree. It's exactly the same.
Well, no, both sides will do that to a degree. But
yeah,
one thing
I said yeah.
Okay, so with the health app data, if you look it up, you see there are multiple things that it's using to interpret data streams coming in. So it uses, for instance, a barometric altimeter and things like that. And it's trying to interpret what you're doing. It's never going to be a very perfect thing, because if you're roofing on your house, climbing a ladder, skiing, riding a golf cart. It doesn't know what you're doing. It doesn't have a drone following you around. And so it's going to make a certain amount of mistakes on things like that. Whereas GPS is not going to make those kind of mistakes. And if you go back and look at the defense's cross-examination, despite what you say here, they don't actually challenge the accuracy of the locality of that GPS data. The only thing they try to challenge is the clock. And the
accuracy, yeah.
No, they really didn't, because they didn't, any of the things that you presented here, they didn't present that. They didn't give any reason to anybody to believe that those circles were not accurate. They didn't question the accuracy of circles. They said, well, look at this circle here. That could have been in the house. Yes, but within only that 4-second period. So unless John O'Keefe...
Do you remember when he said, where in the circle was he placed? And he said, somewhere inside the circle.
That's the way that's the
How many seconds does it take to walk into a house?
way GPS works. You're just as probably...
Exactly.
Have that,
but that's not how that wasn't how it was presented, and they actually questioned them on it.
There's no plotting point in that GPS data that shows him moving towards the driveway, moving towards the house, moving across the lawn. There's nothing. So technically, within those 4 seconds, technically, he could have been within that house. But he would have had to run from that part of the lawn that he was found to the house, ring the doorbell, get back in 4 seconds, which you'd have to be Usain Bolt in his prime to do that, and still end up in exactly the same spot. What is the more logical explanation here? The obvious logical explanation for anybody is that was just the signal got weak in that particular moment, so the circles expanded for those 4 seconds, and that's it. It's very simple. This is simple logic stuff here. It really is. But you're looking for a reason to try to dismiss it.
No, actually, I'm not, because I know GPS data isn't accurate. So to me, it's not a big problem. To you, it's the holy grail. But
well, so it's funny. It's funny that correlates with John's phone data.
It's funny that it works when it works in your direction, and you shit on all the evidence that goes against it. The manual close on his phone after Ken Reed left the scene. That's, you never really talk about that. And you make up that the phone is absolutely not. It's super accurate on the GPS, but any of these are
right. I totally agree with Broken Baker here. He's basically saying, like, if Celebrite data, if Celebrite data was working towards Plevin's argument, he would be praising Celebrite data and saying there's no way that it makes mistakes. It's totally accurate. Look at all the cases. Every case utilizes Celebrite data. Every investigator, every forensics expert uses Celebrite data as a tool. It's tried and true in all kinds of high-profile cases, which is everything that I say. He would be using my same argument, but of course it doesn't work for his argument, so he's going to shit on Celebrite, which is really funny. Everyone's doing that, which I find hilarious.
The other movements, it doesn't really work that way.
You're losing, man.
I know it's a different app, but it's just as accurate. Actually, Apple Health is one of the most accurate. You don't look at any evidence that doesn't prove your tale.
Perfect example right there. Rich Green said on the app, on the stand, the Apple Health app is 99% accurate. What he didn't say was what he was explaining. If you go for a walk and you walk a mile, it's accurate. It's 99% accurate at determining the number of steps you take, which is a very different thing from interpreting what you are doing. There's no measurement that shows it's 99% accurate or what accuracy it is.
Going up and down stairs, it does. Yes, it can tell. It can tell because the phone is at a certain angle when it's moving.
For determining whether it's going upstairs, going in an elevator, driving in a golf cart, there is no way to determine that. So
there is actually ways to. Do you have one of these?
Of course,
my phone can tell if I walk upstairs. My wristwatch.
But it's interpreting things. So one of the things.
Yeah, and it interpreted
is a movement.
No, but you have to at least. We can agree that the bullshit about driving down a road is what it interprets as walking up and down stairs. Can we agree that's bullshit? That didn't happen.
Obviously, because obviously we know from multiple pieces of evidence.
Can we agree that's bullshit? Because you know it's bullshit.
Agreed,
at least,
Debbie.
come on.
You don't want me to explain it to you. You're afraid I'm going to explain it to you. That's what it is. Because
you can't explain it to me. You at some point said it was the barometric pressure in the car that changed. So I bet you can't tell me how it works, because you're more wrong than you're right in this case.
Look at him pout.
What?
Look
at him pout.
Ready for the explanations. There's multiple ways to prove
a grown
Rich Green's
man.
data is
That's
wrong.
a 58-year-old man pouting, bro. Look at him. Look at him. The 58-year-old man right there pouting.
Car that changed. So I bet you can't tell me how it works, because you're more wrong than you're right in this case.
What? Look, you only know when you're ready for the explanations. There's multiple ways to prove that Rich Green's data is wrong. So, for example, we know what time the car passed the temple. All right. So we know the distance from that temple to where they were on the road. And this is the spot that Trooper Garino identified as that's the exact time that Rich Green says they started walking up and down stairs, but they weren't. They were a mile away. They were on the road. We can also use the Waze data. There's multiple data streams that we can look at, and it's just logically we also even know from what time, how long it takes from the temple to get to 34 Fairview and things like that. There's just multiple streams we can look at that show that Rich Green's health app data is absolutely wrong. I'm sure Rich Green knows it too, but he's selectively just trying to take little things to try to help the defense, try to help his client.
So when Karen Reed's GPS puts her on the next street over, that's correct as well.
Karen Reed's GPS was not on.
That's my favorite.
But when they did the Karen
it's like Plevitt is so convinced of his intelligence. He's so convinced of his intelligence that he's like, you know, I'm just a bartender, but I know better than everybody. No, bro. No, you don't. Stop it. Stop it.
Karen Reed had her phone was measured where she was supposed to be one place, and it was not on this occasion, but it was another occasion. There was a street difference. Do you know it's not accurate?
Where are you getting that from? Because her location data was off, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, not on the night in question. But we agreed that. We agree you couldn't tell me how the three stairs change had to do anything with driving down the road because it's not real.
No, listen.
No, you can't because it's bullshit what you're saying. Because you want to talk about Rich Green.
It is bullshit.
Can you,
no.
By chance, can you send me the arrest warrants for Rich Green? Because I know people made the mistake and just searched the name and got the wrong Rich Green.
No, it was the right Rich Green, and it's been.
Can you please send me the paper so I can?
I can if you want, but honestly, let's move on from the Rich Green.
No, because you claimed he's a liar.
See, Ken, stop saying that.
You said he lied to the police. Chap, did he say he lied to the police?
He did lie. I'm sorry, he did lie to the police. That's true.
Okay, send me his arrest record, please.
He said he was pushed, and then they went and looked at the video, and he wasn't pushed. That's true. I thought you meant was. I didn't say.
Yeah, that bar fight. Yeah. So
it wasn't really a bar fight. He pushed a woman, but that's.
Well, it's the case that was dismissed somehow, but yeah, pretty damning evidence against him. You also claimed that Trooper Paul that it didn't change anything that the debris field changed. Why not? Is physics different in Canton than in the real world?
Ask the question about the debris field. I'm sorry, I didn't.
You claim in your book that Trooper Paul looked at all the evidence and he could make the determination this was the spot. In court, Trooper Paul was asked, the debris field didn't start where he claimed. And he kept on saying, well, it must be here. Then it must be here. So are you willing to give me that Trooper Paul's testimony wasn't accurate?
I think I'm going to try to, I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about, but I think I know what you're talking about. So
you know the piece of glass near the fire hydrant?
The piece of that's what I thought. The piece of tail light that was near the fire hydrant, which is actually, I think, about 30 feet from where John was found, correct? Would you say I'm accurate in that? Wasn't that the testimony?
I have never been to Canton, never going to go there. I can't drink that much.
No, this was in the testimony. So if you remember, Alan Jackson tried to really hammer Trooper Paul and say, does this mean that the debris field was 30 feet or that John was struck and went 30 feet? And it wasn't really with Trooper Paul.
He said, he really tried to hammer Trooper Paul.
Ha! Gay!
What Trooper Paul said was there was a debris field, all right, based on the measurements of where each piece of taillight was found, and that he estimated that John's body ended up about 15 feet from where he was struck. I think maybe he said 12 to 15 feet. He never said 30 feet. What Alan Jackson did, though, was find a piece of taillight that was that was discovered 3 weeks later when the snow melted.
You really tried to hammer Trooper Paul.
So how did you like that?
Loved it. I want to ride that horse again sometime. Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
And it was near the fire hydrant, and that's 30 feet away. So he was trying to trip Trooper Paul up and say, so now are you saying the debris field was 30 feet? And that's not what he was saying. As you know, you seem like kind of a technical guy, right? If you were looking at, say, for instance, explosions, like a bomb or something like that, you would have a debris field, but so you could recognize a pattern there that's called the debris field, but then there'd be outlier pieces that would end up for different reasons outside that. Maybe it bounced off something. In this case, it was 3 weeks later when it was found. Maybe it got plowed there. Maybe it got kicked there. We don't really know. I don't know.
So what about all the other pieces of taillight that they claim was showing this is what happened? Because that must have had the exact same travel as the first one. And again,
no. You have a pattern. You have a field. You have a pattern.
No. Because you just said that piece of plastic could have been moved when the snow melted. It could have been kicked there. We all know that the snow had melted way before they found the last pieces of plastic. Of course, you also know this. That magical thing Trooper Paul finds it 3 times. Not Trooper Paul, sorry. Proctor finds it 3 times.
The snow was melting. I know.
No, it had gone. It had gone at that time. It had gone at that time.
No, it was. You don't even understand how snow melts, dude. You had over 2 feet of snow that day in January.
This guy lives in Denmark, bro. He doesn't understand how snow melts. Oh my God.
Trace the signal.
And then you get in New England, we'll get a couple of days where it gets a little warm, and the snow doesn't all just disappear, not 2 feet of snow. I don't think it does in Denmark either, unless the laws of physics are different there. It recedes. And so as the snow was receding, the trooper instructed the local police, keep your eye out for pieces as you drive, as you go by. And so you're just going to keep putting false things out there. There's a debris field, and there are going to be outlier pieces, though, whether they bounce off or something, but that doesn't distract from the fact that there's an overall pattern. And that's what Trooper Paul identified.
Yeah, the snow melted at Fairview 34 5 days slower than it did in the rest of the Canton.
You're the one that just said it all melted. I don't know what, I don't know.
Yeah, when he found the last pieces, again, you just pick up one word and then you keep on with your bullshit. I understand why your book is so bad, because you really don't like anyone who doesn't.
Why it's bad, because I don't think you can read. You can't. You're putting out misinformation.
Wow.
Well, apparently he's not grown enough to have a conversation with people. Can you come back without all the personal attacks?
Baker was like,
I'm not impressed. Just get rid of me, because I'm not impressed by anything you're doing.
Leave then.
Conversation. You put out false statements almost every sentence.
No, you're the one who came with false statements.
You have not enriched your audience.
No, because I had you on and you won't answer anything, and you just make up bullshit that you can't prove in any way. Okay, I'll give you one more chance. You claim that it's impossible to believe that there's a conspiracy in Canton because it just doesn't make sense. Your main theory is that the DOJ conspired with the defense team. How in the hell is it possible to conspire with the DOJ but not with Canton PD, where several family members is closely connected?
Okay, sure. I'll take that on. That's a good question. And so I will take it.
It's a really good question, because it makes absolutely no sense, and you should really report it to someone.
So you're going to answer the question for me. Go ahead, answer the question for me. I don't tell you.
Yeah, it makes
I want to hear
the
question
hell
again.
is it in theory is to believe that there's a conspiracy. Okay, I'll give you one more chance. You claim that it's impossible to believe that there's a conspiracy in Canton because it just doesn't make sense. Your main theory is that the DOJ conspired with the defense team. How in the hell is it possible to conspire with the DOJ but not with Canton PD, where several family members is closely connected?
Okay, sure. I'll take that on. That's a good question. And so I will take
it's a really good question, because it makes absolutely no sense, and you should really report it to someone.
So
if the
you're
DOJ.
You're going to answer.
Yeah, it makes no sense what you're saying. At the same time, you're claiming that the DOJ is corrupt because if you hire a certain law firm, you will get out easy of white-collar crimes. Have you any proof of that, or is it defamatory statements that you just bring up and say, well, I just make it up, I don't have to adhere to anything? Probably why you're publishing.
I totally did that by accident. I meant to mute, and instead I paused.
So said all the statements made in the book is by you, so they are not liable for them.
Do you want me to answer any of these questions as soon as I
start? Yeah, if you will answer them without all of your bullshit, and just answer how the MSP can't be in a collusion with anyone, but the DOJ, the fucking feds, you believe that? It's I can't even, because it's such a stupid thing.
You see, you're not going to let me answer the question. So
come on, tell me, brother.
You just want to make your
I'll blow
statement.
my brother. My nose while you talk. I'll have you in my ears.
That'll be the smartest thing you've said. But all right, listen. I don't reject the idea of conspiracies. They are reality, and that people conspire. Two people get together to decide to rob a bank. That's a conspiracy. There have been conspiracies that involve state police, local police, feds. The reason the Karen Reed conspiracy, I didn't dismiss it. I started out thinking it was very plausible the first few months covering this.
Wait a second. How many fucking times have I heard Plevin use the argument that the chances of there being a conspiracy are slim to none? That the statistics don't make sense that there would be a conspiracy, right? Yet he's been pushing this whole DOJ and defense conspiring for fucking months. So which one is it, Plevin? And I love that Baker's pointing this out. This is a great, like, there's no way other than for Plevin to try to weasel his way out of this. So I'm fucking here for it.
It's the logic of it that doesn't make sense. The idea of putting someone out to die on your own lawn is a starting point. Why would you put him out alive? Why would you put him on your own lawn? Why wouldn't you put him on the street? Why wouldn't you put him in the neighbor's yard? Why wouldn't you get rid of the body? There's so many different things you can do. If you're the state police and you show the next stop on the lead investigators, you show up at the McCabe's house after going to the Canton police to get the lay of the land. So now you meet with Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe and Brian Albert, who went there to meet them. If there was ever a time when this conspiracy was going to be planned out, that would be it. So you would think if there was a conspiracy that the troopers at that point would go and secure the vehicle, which is sitting a mile away in John's driveway, but they don't. They go to the hospital. So this is yet another indication. But as far as the feds, no, I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying on it. I don't believe that Karen Reed's team, they had their meeting with then First Assistant U.S. Attorney Josh Levy in August of 2022, about 8 months after John's death. I do not believe they went in and said, hey, we need our client is guilty. We need you to hook us up. No, that's not the way it would work. The way it would work is they go in and whatever that we don't know what they presented to the U.S. Attorney, but somehow, now how they got that meeting, it does suggest a personal connection between either Karen and Josh Levy is a very powerful position, or perhaps one of the lawyers. Okay. When I talked to former U.S. Attorney Rachel Rollins, she said, too bad everybody couldn't get a meeting like that. Okay. So there's nothing necessarily suspicious on just that alone if they got the meeting. Now, whatever they told them, they convinced the U.S. Attorney there was something to investigate here and to launch a pretty massive investigation. Now, I don't believe that they would launch an investigation if they believed Karen was guilty. All right. I do believe that whatever the defense told them convinced them that at the very least there was something seriously worth looking into here, because it was a significant investigation. In November, they were already subpoenaing the phones of all the people that defense had named as the real killers or as suspects. They launched a federal grand jury, which is a big process. There was a lot involved here, but there's a lot of evidence of a very inappropriate close connection between the U.S. Attorney's Office, somebody there, and Karen's team. The state has claimed, now we don't know if it's true, that they were feeding the times and dates of their witnesses when they were going to testify. They were feeding this to Karen's team, who was feeding it to the blogger Turtle Boy, who was using it to hound them, knowing that they were going in to testify that day. The U.S. Attorney's Office.
Of this? Do you have proof of this?
No, I already said we don't.
Then you probably shouldn't say it, because
the state put in a document. The state put in a document. So
the state put in a document that Karen Reed leaked confidential material to Turtle Boy so he could use it against. Do you know Karen Reed and Turtle Boy have been investigated in a grand jury?
Yes.
What was the?
Okay, now before they get into that, it's absurd. It's not so much absurd to think that Karen Reed's defense went to the Department of Justice or went to the United States Attorney's Office. That's not so absurd. If they have information, why wouldn't they report it? Of course. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they do that? But what's interesting, though, is how the fuck would Plevin know what the circumstances were? Because none of us actually do. Because we don't even know if that's what happened. So why is Plevin talking about that like it's fact? That's a problem. Plevin not only has talked about this and on here got offended when the book was implied to be fiction. So if he's stating these things as fact, he's going to have a real big problem if his book actually does well, which it won't. But if his book does well, he's going to have a serious problem. And even if it doesn't do well, I would imagine that, I mean, there's some sort of situation possible, like what happened with OJ's book. OJ wrote that fucking If I Did It book, and all the fucking proceeds and all the profits ended up going to the Brown and Goldman families. So, I mean, there's a way, but Plevin's playing with dangerous fire here because nobody's going to read his fucking book. But those, I mean, it would be worth it to me if I was Karen Reed or any of the people that he's fucking lying about in this book. It would be worth it to me to sue him just to get the fucking few cents on the dollar in profits that he might make off of that book, just to take them from him.
What's the findings in the grand jury?
No true bill at this point, but they weren't sent most of the evidence. That original.
So it's just because they didn't get the evidence. Okay.
Do you want me? They don't have the phone evidence yet, which is the all important evidence. But trying to prove a conspiracy between two people like that is a challenge. So we'll see. The only real evidence we have on this that we know that's public is what Turtle Boy said. Turtle Boy said, and we have his admin chat, and we have the recording of it, when he was mad a year ago because Nick was going into court instead of him, and Nick was going on court TV. He got mad at Karen, and he said, I am going to go to the state police. I have evidence that proves that Karen was the one that was directing my efforts to attack these witnesses. Now, Turtle Boy might have been making that up, but he did say it. So
did he say, when did he say it? On his show?
No, this was in. So it was the Facebook official group that is administered by Nick and Jenna Rocco, but it says Turtle Boy official on it. So he's in the admin there, and there were several other people. We got the admin chat and we got the audio from it.
And that launched a grand jury investigation that went nowhere. So why are you even talking about it? It was investigated and it went nowhere. Nothing happened. There were no charges. As easy as it is to indict someone, as easy as it is for a grand jury to indict someone, because the grand jury will indict a ham sandwich, as they say, they wouldn't even indict Turtle Boy or Karen Reed with this bullshit because it was nothing. It wasn't anything. If anything, and I don't even know the circumstances of it. I never really looked that deep into it. But if anything, I would guess it was just Turtle Boy blowing off some fucking steam and being in the heat of an argument and saying some angry shit. That's what I would gather, considering the facts that we know, or the facts that I'm aware of. The facts that I'm aware of is the shit was investigated and nothing happened. So nothing happened. So that leads me to believe that that was just Turtle Boy just being pissed off and arguing with the Roccos. And they're cool now and have been for quite a while. So all of this is moot.
He's actually hasn't denied it. He's apologized since then. He said he was angry. A couple months ago, he constructed a pretty elaborate apology to Nick. I think it was around the time when they did the fundraiser. So he doesn't deny it. He threatened to take evidence to Lieutenant Tucker. But again, that doesn't mean he has evidence. He could have been making that up. But I have also talked to witnesses.
Who gave you, is it Sean of the Gulf the only guy you?
So what's the point of bringing it up? Because what that comes off as is you're just looking for a reason to talk shit about Turtle Boy. You're not arguing any points of the case. You're not arguing any. You just said he could have been making it up. He could have you just totally just said what I said my argument was. He could have just been making it up. He was just mad. He fucking said he apologized to Nick Rocco or whatever, which I don't even know if he did. I don't even know if he did that or not. I don't know. What I'm saying is the only point that you're making here by bringing that up, even though you're admitting that nothing is to come of it, ever did come of it, it just shows that you have these issues with Turtle Boy. Like you're telling the world that you just have a problem with Turtle Boy.
Mentioned throughout your book. Is it him you rely on these internal workings of the Free Can Read movement on, or do you actually have anything other than him? Because basing,
dude, like that time I hit mute, but I accidentally double clicked it and then like it unmuted.
Anything on a very volatile, emotional guy probably isn't the best, but it seems like that's
Sean on the Gulf was not in that admin chat. Sean on the Gulf.
So you have a plan on the. That's interesting.
But you might find this interesting. I want to mention this to you. Now, I have spoken to witnesses on this who did testify before the federal grand jury, and this, you don't believe me?
No, I was waving my head at no stray ends who claimed that I owed an apology to the EMT that.
Oh my God, bro, Plevin, stop being so fucking self-conscious.
Made up that Karen said I hit him. That Karen had admitted that multiple times. Can you just tell your side?
Plevin, you don't sound confident when you do things like this right here.
That's interesting.
But you might find this interesting. I want to mention this to you. Now, I have spoken to witnesses on this who did testify before the federal grand jury, and this, you don't believe me?
No, I was waving my head.
Dude, he highlighted the question. Like when you that shows a lack of confidence behind what you're saying.
At no stray ends who
just talk about like what you heard.
Claimed that I owed an apology to the EMT that made up that Karen said.
Don't worry about if Broken Baker believes you or not. If you're confident in what you're saying, you don't give a shit whether he believes you or not.
That I hit him. That Karen had admitted that multiple times. Can you just tell your side? That's not true. Karen said, did I hit him in the interview? Because it's one of those, it's an urban legend and you know it's not true. Please, can we just bury that one? It's a stupid one.
Sure, I can partly bury it with you.
No.
I guess,
She said in the Rachel Ross interview, did I hit him? Are we agreeing on that? At least do that one. I'm not going to say that the 3 EMTs lied when they said, I hit him, even though no one else heard it. But can you at least say she never said it on the interview? Just so
on the interview, she said it was a question. She said that she stated it as a question.
Yeah, good. So all you anti-Karen readers out there, stop spewing the bullshit, because it's not true.
And Baker, too, you probably don't listen to my show. I don't blame you, but I have said, and I've said this on Court TV, that I don't really factor in that evidence. I hit him very much, because there's no recording of it. So we don't know if those first responders unintentionally influence each other. We don't know exactly what she said, and we don't know what was in her mind. So that is not an evidence that factors in with me at all.
And I have to, that's one thing I would give you. You wrote that in your book, that it could have been interpreted that way. And we know, because we saw the evidence, that all 3 of them have different explanations, and at least one of them is on camera proving it can't be correct, what she stated in court. But that's the problem with the witnesses. They will remember stuff that doesn't happen. And that I'll have to give you, you mentioned that in your book too, that our mind makes up patterns when we hear stuff. So that's not that interesting, but it's just one of those stupid things that come out.
If I could just take a moment to finish what I was trying to say before about the witnesses that I talked to that appeared before the federal grand jury. So their appearances were while this mob was stirred up, and while Turtle Boy was harassing them and showing up at their homes with 100 people and a bullhorn and stuff like that. Well, while this was going on, the U.S. Attorney himself went down to actually participate in the questioning of the witnesses. He grilled them, brought some of them to tears, the younger ones. And amazingly, they put up there a blow-up of TB Daily News, so witnesses could see it. So here we have the U.S. Now, at this point, it's the U.S. Attorney. So he's the only people over him in the government are the Attorney General in the cabinet and the President. It was a very high position. He's got 120 assistant U.S. attorneys working under him in Boston alone. And he is up there, amazingly, doing this questioning himself with TB Daily News up there, knowing, and she certainly knows, that those people are being hounded by Turtle Boy and his mob. And just one last thing on this, I want to see if you find this might be interesting. Turtle Boy, as you may know, has nothing. I'm not criticizing this. Has a huge ego. He was very proud last year when the trial was interrupted for an hour and a half to decide whether or not he should be allowed to stay. That was one of the biggest days in his life. Now, normally, if you tell Aiden that a U.S. attorney used TB Daily News to question the witnesses, like if I heard that the U.S. attorney used my channel to question the witnesses, I'd be like, wow, that's pretty cool. He refuses to talk about it. So there's something interesting going on there. But you can respond.
So, one question: how would he know? Because a grand jury is a sealed court procedure,
right?
So he can't know
right.
it. You shouldn't be able to know it either.
Why the fuck would he talk about that when he's not supposed to fucking even know about it? You dumb shit. You're not supposed to know about it.
That's another thing. You seem to have access to information that isn't in the public. And I know Brennan said at the last hearing that he would never allow his team to leak anything. So those connections you have that leaked to you that the federal investigation into John O'Keefe's death was over, will you do the right thing and turn them into Brennan so he doesn't have to fear that he will have a tainted case because someone talks to you?
Yeah, so nobody from Hank Brennan's team has ever talked to me, or anybody from the district attorney's office. I've never talked to even the lunch lady. All right. Not only that, I don't have any information that's from Discovery. I've never reported any information from Discovery.
You did when you said that the federal investigation was over before it was revealed to the
Plevin, you look like the lunch lady. Stop it.
The defense. So you had early access.
No.
Have some more sloppy joes. Plevin, you're scaring us.
Oh,
so had Christina Rex and what's his name?
I'd be happy to tell you how I know that stuff, but that's not from Discovery material. That is from...
No, because it's not in Discovery.
No, so I just said I've never been given any Discovery material. What happened was when the U.S. Attorney's Office did finally decide to say that the investigation was closed, the way they chose to do it, they didn't want to establish a precedent by doing a press conference. So what they did was they reached out to the Mass State Police, to the Canton Police, and to the Norfolk County DA's office. And these particular entities reached out to witnesses. And so I don't have any information. For instance, I have no idea what the state got from the new chip off from the vehicle data. I have no idea. I have no idea what the only thing I know.
But you have been selling the chip off data as the big turning point. You started that in December.
No, I don't think we need it, but I'm really interested to see what's in there.
Well, that's not how you portrayed it. You portrayed it as it's going to be the.
I fucking love it, dude. Baker did his homework on Plevin. He was like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker up here, and I'm gonna throw everything in this motherfucker's face. I'm gonna bring up his whole past. I'm gonna prove that all he does is talk out of his ass, because he's not going to be able to account for half the shit that I'm going to fucking confront him with.
The thing that crucifies Karen. And
no,
again,
that's not what I said at all. That's not what I said at all. If you,
well,
I can just tell you what.
Well, I'm reading on a fourth grade level apparently, but it's almost the time I asked you for an hour. The last thing I want to ask you is, I know in your book you claim that it's totally typical, the injuries to John O'Keefe.
I didn't say that.
Well, totally plausible that
Typical
he didn't
what?
have any injuries.
No, I've said the injuries are strange. I've always said that.
So you'll agree he has no telltale sign of being struck by a car?
Oh, of course.
So you agree with the ARCA guys, there's no injuries consistent
Wrong.
with being hit by a car?
No, those are, you just said two different things. So if John was
No, he didn't.
sideswiped, you get this pattern of injuries on the arm.
No,
and then
no, absolutely no way.
Right,
That's
so
why every medical professional said it's not consistent with a car strike.
No way.
Okay, that's
right.
not true. And
Not
even the
possible.
ARCA guys didn't say that. Okay, the ARCA guys do want to conclude that because they're trying to help the defense. But Dr. Renshaw said yes.
No,
it's possible.
you're doing it again, Plevin. You're making up stories.
Dude, you're doing it. And again,
ARCA wasn't trying to help the defense.
I know English is your second language, but you don't.
Wow.
word
It's my
questions
third,
carefully.
but I'm still better at it than you. You are claiming the ARCA guy was trying to help the defense. They write a report. They turn it over to the feds. They don't change that report. You know that because then Hank Brennan, well, at that time, Lally, could use it against them. Why are you always putting motive on every witness on the defense side, but all the people talking on the state side is you have to believe them, even though, can we agree on this? Jen McCabe have lied multiple times in her test. Well, she has misstated facts in her previous arraignments, correct?
She has not lied, and she has not misstated any significant fact.
Other than she saw the
She lied like a motherfucking weatherman, bro.
car at 2:45 outside of the house.
That's again, this is where the English second language FKR thing. You guys don't know the difference between lies and trying to say something to the best
Kevin,
of your memory.
stop. Stop it.
You keep using the word lies when you don't know what the word means. You're gonna have to get another English dictionary too, because there's no evidence that Jen McCabe.
Dude, the evidence is her lying. The evidence is her sitting on the stand and lying. Like,
lied about anything. All right.
Why are you not better at this? You are the big.
You said she lied. Show me.
You are the big anti-Karen Reed.
Did you use the
channel.
word lied?
8,500.
I'll tell you what the evidence is, Plevin. I don't know if Broken Baker will because he's in the heat of arguing with you right now, but I'll tell you what the evidence is. The evidence is that there's a Celebrite report that says that she Googled 2:27 a.m. that at 2:27 a.m. how long to die in cold. It's the only Google search that's deleted out of 4,000. I already forgot the number. It's an insane amount, and it's the only one that's deleted. Second of all, she also lied about the fact that she didn't speak to her sister. We heard a recording of her speaking to her sister. We know for a fact she spoke to her sister. She lied about she lied about that. Here's the thing. This is the fun thing about the deletions. I don't think she's lying about the deletions. I talked about this on X earlier today. I don't think that she deleted the Google search, and I don't think that she deleted the phone calls. I think that either Matt and or Guarino did all of the deleting. I don't think that she deleted anything. I think that she had people do it while she organized everything and manipulated everyone. Her job was to use verbal manipulations, while their job was to do technical manipulations. That's what I think happened. Because the way that she testified in court, the way that she said, I did not delete anything, any calls, like she said it with such confidence and looked at the jury, and she was like with conviction, like, finally I get to say something truthfully, even though she's telling half the truth. But she felt like fired up about being able to say the fact that she did not delete anything, because I don't think that she did. I think she had someone else do it. And she felt confident and cocky in wording it in the sense that I didn't delete anything. I didn't delete anything at all. So that's what she did. And it was painfully obvious. It's painfully obvious. What's my proof of that? The deleted calls. The deleted calls. I mean, the deleted calls only serve to benefit Jen McCabe. Whether she did it or not, she was behind the deletions. She made the calls, and she lied about making the calls because the calls are there and they showed up on the record as deleted. That's the proof. That's the proof that Jen McCabe is a fucking liar. So there's your answer, Plevin. I don't know if Baker will get to that because he's too busy being in the heat of arguing with you, but that's what happened.
1,000 subscribers, and you can't even handle a stupid Danish baker in a debate because you will always strawman everything. Plevin, it hasn't been a pleasure to have you on.
She also lied about the timeline. Yes, she also lied about 12:45. Karen was back at John O'Keefe's house, logged onto the Wi-Fi by 12:36. So impossible.
I gave you an hour. It was worse than I thought. I tried to be fair to you, but you are absolutely the worst person. You claim that the experts from the defense lied. So please go make up another story. Go on Twitter, tell how stupid I was, and I will agree with you because I was stupid enough to have you on. Everyone, if you're interested, Storm of Suspicion is a book by...
Yeah, you see that? I'm not going to call Broken Baker stupid, okay? He just, like, he regrets it. I'm not going to put myself in that position. That's why I listen to the people. Like, I put up a poll months and months ago, like, should I let Plevin on my channel? And everyone was like, fuck no, don't even bother. Because they know that this is going to happen. All of you guys know that this is going to happen. And so, Broken Baker, in the spirit of good faith, gave him a chance. And Plevin proved him right because Baker predicted this might happen. That's why he's kicking himself. But he shouldn't kick himself. Baker, kudos to you for you know, extending an olive branch. We all appreciate you for it, man.
By Kevin, that you can find on Amazon. Personally, I can't recommend it, but if you want to see his thoughts about the case, mixed in with a lot of other things, go buy the book, read it for yourself on Kindle. It's free. Again, it can't get my recommendation. Some other people might like it. It has 4.1 star review. Some of them clearly is review bombing, just like the 1-star reviews or 0-star reviews. I don't think it's a 0-star book. I would probably give it 2. But thank you so much for stopping by, and can I just get on Twitter and
what's funny is this is only halfway through.
Can I just have one last word, or you can go after? But I just want to make one. And it's not going to be anything you'll be upset about.
This goes on.
Yeah, if you can try and be an adult, that'll be fine. On your way out, you'll get the play. Grift yourself.
Oh, okay, so he's all right. I just want to say, listen, it's important for people
Grift yourself
on both sides to not exist in any debate in echo chambers. Get the information from both sides. Try to listen and get that information from the other side. If you're only getting information from the side that you agree with, you're going to end up leading to mistakes. So get information from me or from wherever else. If you're free, Karen Reed, I don't care. But
like, that's what I'm saying.
Much of the information that
if I were to have Plevin on, I'm just going to clown him. I'm not going to show him any respect at all. So he would never even agree to it. Like, I would absolutely not even front. I'm not going to show him the slightest bit of fucking respect because he's given me no reason to show him any. None at all.
And that it debunked the conspiracy and the many false claims put up by the defense actually came out in the trial. So just watch the trial. All right, guys.
Well, that was probably not something I'm going to do again. Yeah. I really don't understand. This is the big guy on the other side. I'm a stupid little baker with a small channel. I really wanted to talk about his book. He wanted to turn it into a...
All right, let's leave it. Let's give it up for Broken Baker, y'all, because that was really fucking awesome, man. Good for him, dude. And make sure to subscribe to Broken Baker. The link to the video that we just watched is pinned to the top of the chat. Make sure to click on it and give it a like. And then while you're over there, make sure to subscribe too, because Broken Baker's awesome. He's a good dude. I mean, he's over here fighting for Karen Reed all the way from Denmark, y'all. You know what I mean? That's something. That's something. So, yeah, man, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. I think that was fun. I'm stoked for this coming week. I'm stoked to see Karen Reed's defense kick some fucking ass. Yeah, man. And I'm stoked for Turtle Boy's live stream that's coming up in about 17 minutes. So guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. I had a really good time. I want to thank you guys. Make sure to hit the like for this video. Hit the like on this one as well. Don't forget to hit the like on this one, and make sure to subscribe if you're not already. And if you are subscribed, make sure that you've hit that notification bell so you know when I'm going live, because I don't want to miss you guys and I don't want you to miss me. Yeah, Turtle Boy will be live at 9 p.m. Yeah, man, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I had a really good time. Thank you guys for all the support. I really appreciate it. You guys are absolutely amazing. And that is going to be it for me. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.